Rajesh bhai, you can make the announcements that the meeting will formally start at 3:15 and the FM would be joining at that time.
I welcome all the participants in today's Grand National Tax Conference, and we are hereby glad to inform that our Honourable Finance Minister will join us at 3:30 p.m. and meeting will be formally started at 3:15 p.m. I am highly thankful to all our professional brothers, industrialists, traders and trade associations and all professional brothers from across the country for making this event a grand success. All my professional brothers from across the country have helped us a lot in making this event a grand success. Our respected Pankaj Ghiya ji has done lot of efforts, untiring efforts, and with his great efforts, this event is going to become a grand success. This is our 2 days National Tax Conference. After inaugural session, we will be having academic interest discussion on faceless assessment and faceless appeals and Vivad se Vishwas scheme and GST issues, and then we will be having the brand trust session in which income tax question and answers will be taken up. And tomorrow again our session will start at 10 o'clock, and this program will be live on YouTube tomorrow also. पंकज जी प्लीज आपका माइक अनम्यूट कीजिए. Now I hand over the mic to respected Pankaj Ghiya ji.
Friends, it's 2:47 and we'll be starting the program. We were scheduled to start the program at 2 o'clock, but due to some time constraint and some replanning by us and also by our chief guest, we have to start the meeting now at 3:15 p.m. Officially we would be having an introduction and other one-to-one interaction starting from 3 o'clock, and thereafter from 3:15 p.m. we would be going with our technical sessions with the first inaugural session. Friends, it is really a privilege for all of us, and I would request you now, because you are all joining us on YouTube, there was some confusion regarding the webinar on Zoom. Because of some constraints, we had shifted the webinar from Zoom to YouTube. I would be requesting you all to please log on to YouTube and please circulate the link of the YouTube to all your groups, professional groups, business groups, and all other persons to whom you will find this National Tax Conference as interesting. Friends, it is a privilege for us for the first time our most honorable Union Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji would be joining on the AIFTP platform and addressing all the tax professionals. It's a privilege and proud moment, and therefore I would request you all to circulate this information right now to more and more professional groups, more and more interactive groups, so that we can be joined by a large number of persons. Apart from it, many media houses, live channels are also circulating this information and taking this information live on their platforms. Friends, the 2-day webinar or National Tax Conference, that would be virtual. It is a privileged moment for all of us, and the credit goes to you all, the participants, which are joining in large numbers, and because of your circulation of the message, time and again, I would be requesting, because this is again a very proud moment for all of us. Please circulate this message to all right now, so that large number of people can join you on the YouTube. Friends, it's really a privilege for all of us that we are holding this webinar on National Tax Conference, and already around 400 participants are joined on YouTube, and more. It is also good information that we are also live on Facebook. We had streamed it on Facebook also. So we are live on Facebook on the AIFTP CZ page, and we are also live on Twitter, Periscope TV. So fortunately, after all the hiccups, technical hiccups and everything, we are live on WebEx, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Periscope TV, on Twitter, and our Twitter handle is also working. We had already tweeted about the NTC and being live, and we had welcomed our Honourable Finance Minister, who has very graciously agreed to come on as a chief guest for this inaugural session. Friends, all these technical efforts would not have been possible but with the support of Mr. Ramesh Prabhu and Mr. Virag Shah. My all gratitude to them, because in the morning we were in a dilemma, we were in a doubt what to do and what not to do. But these two gentlemen had been with us. They are the backbone of our technical team, and because of it, we are able to conduct this program and being interacting with you live on YouTube and all social media platforms. And this is a real great achievement for not of us, not for us, not for AIFTP, but of all you participants. Friends, uh, to give you a brief, because most of the people who are joining, they are either AIFTP members and some of them are not AIFTP members. AIFTP stands for All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, with its head office at Mumbai, and it is a 9,000 strong tax professional body, members from length and breadth of India, east, west, north, south, central. Go anywhere and you will find a AIFTPN. I would be adding a new word with the AIFTP, and that is a AIFTPN, for the simple reason that all the tax professional, be it a chartered accountant, be it a advocate, be it a tax practitioner, they are all the members of the AIFTP, and the AIFTP has a long history, created in the year 1972, and since then we are continuing and growing day by day. Friends, because of the popularity, because of the efforts, and particularly the efforts of my dear friend Mr. Rajesh Mehta, we are having the finance minister today on our platform inaugurating the National Tax Conference. It is a really proud achievement for all of us, and the credit all goes to our dynamic Rajesh Mehta for all his consistent persuasion with the finance ministry, and we had been successful, and so successful that in spite of our hiccups, but because of the technical support of Virag Bhai and Ramesh Bhai, we are here live with you, and I am grateful on behalf of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, on behalf of our Central Zone, on behalf of all of you. I am grateful to them. I would be welcoming some of the participants here. Mr. Samir Jani, the National Secretary General, is here. Mr. Samir Jani is a dynamic fellow. He has galvanized this sleeping AIFTP this year into a digital age AIFTP with more than 100 webinars to the credit of AIFTP, and attended on an average by almost 600-700 participants every time. Friends, again I am repeating time and again, because we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, and also on Twitter, on that Periscope TV of Twitter. I would be reminding you that on the technical session from 4 o'clock would start on Zoom, on the ID circulated, and it would also be live on YouTube and all other links, social media links, which we had already circulated. I would be now requesting our National Vice President, Mr. Rajesh Mehta, to give a brief introduction about the National Tax Conference and about the proceedings which we will be continuing with it. Mr. Rajesh Mehta.
Thank you, respected Pankaj Ghiya sir. I hereby welcome all the participants of today's Grand National Tax Conference, being organized by All India Federation of Tax Conference, in which most of the industrialists, traders, various associations, our chartered accountants, tax practitioners, advocates, and so many persons from all the parts of the country are joining today. And all my professional colleagues from all parts of the country, all the four corners of the country, have helped me a lot in circulating our messages, circulating our YouTube links across the country. So I am highly thankful to all the participants. I welcome all the participants today. And our respected Pankaj Ghiya ji has been very much helpful to us. Because of him only this technical support and this all these things have become real today. He has done untiring efforts since so many days. We were daily in touch how to make this a grand success, and so many suggestions I had given to Pankaj ji, Ghiya ji, and Pankaj Ghiya ji had discussed everything with me, and both of us were mutually agree on everything, and every suggestion was accepted by Pankaj ji, and he made it a grand success today, so that our honorable finance minister is here today, and our respected Pankaj Ghiya ji has done a commendable job during lockdown period. As and when in the March end the lockdown was announced, Pankaj ji has planned webinars, and he was the first person in our AIFTP who had announced webinars. So all our tax professionals across the India joined our more than 100 webinars, many days. So they were gained with lot of academic knowledge, and we with these webinars we reached to every part of the country even during the lockdown period, and our FTP could disseminate a great knowledge of income tax, GST, and other allied laws. And I am thankful to our Vinay Joli ji, Sandeep Agrawal sahab, our respected Nikita Badeka ji, Samir Jani sahab, our Deputy President Malladi Srinivas Rao sahab, Ashok Saraf sahab, and all the past presidents, all the managing committee members of our AFTP, all central zone team members, all have done a lot of efforts in these today's programs. So I welcome to all of you to this great program. Now I hand over mic to respected Pankaj Ghiya ji.
Thank you, Rajesh bhai. It's really a privilege, and it's a privilege for all of us, for the simple reason that because of all the efforts, a team effort of the central zone, we are here able to welcome the finance minister. I would be requesting our chairman central zone, Mr. Vinay Kumar Jolly, to speak few words about the program.
Thank you, Pankaj ji. Respected Honourable Union Finance Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Chief Guest of the conference, National President, Past President of AIFTP, and Office Bearers of AIFTP, National Level and Central Zone, esteemed and learned session chairman, subject speakers, panelists, and dear professional members. I, Vinay Kumar Jolly, Chairman, Central Zone AIFTP, heartily welcome you all to this mega conference graced by the presence of Honourable Union Finance Minister Madam. We have been overwhelmed by response in the terms of registration we have got from you all. It has been well said by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, all of us do not have equal talent, but all of us have an equal opportunity to develop our talent. This has been the purpose behind this conference, to provide our members with an opportunity to listen the learned and experienced faculty on very pertinent topics on both direct taxes and indirect taxes.
Rajesh sir,
The
am I
present
audible?
COVID situation
Yes,
is
sir. You
tough
are audible.
not only for
You
the
are
business
audible.
but also for
Vinay ji,
the
please
professionals.
stop. Vinay ji, please.
A
Yes, you
professional
are audible. Vinay ji, please stop.
Can everyone please confirm if I am audible to all?
Yes, you are audible. Absolutely clear.
audible I am.
Audible है sir, बिल्कुल
Yes,
audible
you
है.
are audible, sir. You are audible.
Vinay, you have to start and end very shortly. Mr. Vinay, you have to start very shortly and end.
I once again welcome Honorable Nirmala Sitharaman Madam and am grateful for accepting our humble invitation to grace this conference. I am also grateful to the learned speakers for sparing their valuable time out of their busy schedule. Let me also thank all the executive committee members for extending their full-hearted cooperation for the organization of this mega conference. I shall remain always grateful to the senior members for showing their valuable guidance and support. With this, I again welcome you all and wish the conference a grand success.
Chairman of the Central Zone AIFTP, I would now request Mr. Samir Jani, National Secretary General, to speak few words. Mr. Samir Jani. Virag bhai, you have to unlock him. Samir bhai, you can unlock yourself. Unmute yourself.
Thank you, respected Pankaj ji. Rajesh ji Mehta, Vice President, Central, Vinay Kumar Jolly, Chairman, Central, Sandeep ji, Secretary, CA, Virag Shah, Ramesh Patodi, Honourable Finance Minister. As usual, Pankaj ji started and Pankaj ji is ending. He is a dynamic personality. He was the one who started with BlueJeans and shifted us to Zoom and then whatnot. But then finally he has led Citizen to a new horizon. I thank everybody for supporting Pankaj ji and I congratulate Central Zone for the nice and eventful year. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir bhai. As usual, also you are very crystal clear and brief in your address and with a smiling face. Friends, we are awaiting the presence of our Honourable Finance Minister. I think somebody has two mobiles with him. Two mobile or two laptops or desktop. Please stop one mobile or laptop or desktop. I would request Sandeep Agarwal, Secretary, Central Zone, to say a few words and very fast.
Good afternoon, all of you. I am grateful to our today's chief guest, Honourable Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman Madam, Finance Minister of India, our National President Nikita Ma'am, National Secretary Samir Jani Sir, respected my brother Pankaj Sir, Rajesh Mehta ji. I am thankful to you all for joining us in a large number, registering us in a large number. We are so grateful that today's our Union Finance Minister is with us and we have a chance to listen to him. I welcome you all heartily. Thank you so much.
I think, Sandeep, you had been... There is some echo in the voice. Can you check from where the echo is coming? Okay. So, friends, I would be simply saying that we are anxiously waiting for the arrival of our Honourable Chief Guest, Honourable Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, Union Finance Minister and Corporate Affairs Minister of India. And I am also waiting to welcome her on behalf of all the AIFTP fraternity, the tax fraternity of India, and all the technical team. But before going further, it is my duty that already I have said that Virag bhai was the main person who has been working with us, and because of his efforts, because of his kindness, we are here. I would request Virag bhai to say a few words at this juncture.
Thank you, Pankaj, Ghiya sir. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity. Thank you, Rajesh Mehta sir, for giving this opportunity. We are very obliged, and we are part of AIFTP now and always. Don't consider as others. We are part of team, a professional community. We all are same, sir. So with this word, would like to now request Pankaj sir to take over. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Vivad bhai. You as humble as always, and it is a quality of a tax professional. I would always there to help others. And
Thank you.
friends, this strong tax fraternity of India, being represented by All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, having a member in each and every district of India, each and every taluka of India, each and every tehsil of India, and doing service for what? For giving education, about to the taxpayers, and asking them to pay right taxes, not a penny less and not a penny more. So that is the motto of AIFTP, the 3 E's that we always say: ethics, education, and excellence. These are the 3 mottos of AIFTP, and for that the AIFTP has always been working. Friends, I would now once again request Mr. Rajesh Mehta to briefly touch upon the technical sessions, because the today's 3 technical sessions are very important, and Rajesh Mehta would be touching upon very briefly to the 3 technical sessions.
Thank you, Pankaj ji. Today we are having issues in faceless assessment and faceless appeals, and thereafter we will be discussing the faceless and we will be discussing Vivad se Vishwas scheme, which is a great opportunity for all the taxpayers whose cases are pending at any appellate stage. And then we will be taking up GST recent changes and procedural simplification. Then we will be having brain trust session, in which we will be taking up income tax queries. And again tomorrow our session will start at 10 o'clock morning, in which we will be discussing GST and income tax search and survey provisions. And thereafter at 11 o'clock tomorrow we will be discussing TDS and TCS issues under income tax. And at the 12 noon tomorrow there will be a concluding remark of this conference, this 2 days conference. And we have received so many registrations from all the parts of the India. So we hereby welcome all the participants from all the fraternity, chartered accountants, tax practitioners, advocates, industrialists, traders and trade associations, and so many more. So I hereby welcome you all. Now I hand over mic to Pankaj Ghiya ji.
Thank you, Rajesh bhai. So friends, what I was telling you about the All India Federation of Tax Practitioners was 9,000 plus members, offices in all the zones, east, west, north, south, and central. All the senior advocates, chartered accountants, leading paper writers, leading experts in the taxation field, they are part and parcel of the All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. We have a glorious galaxy of the past presidents. Our present president, Mrs. Nikita Badeka, is an advocate from Mumbai, the second lady president of this august body. And this year, we had held more than 100 webinars on the topics covering income tax, covering GST, covering RERA, covering FEMA, covering other aspects, including the enforcement directorate and everything. We are into education. We are continuously publishing books and we are also releasing a journal that is a monthly journal covering aspects of all education, all notifications, all updates on the direct and indirect tax laws, and including RERA and other subjects. We have an expert team on FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange Management Act, and we are organizing these webinars for the purpose of educating and for the purpose of educating all the taxpayers, all the tax practitioners, and all the working team of AIFTP. Friends, AIFTP motto, what I told you, education, excellence, and ethics, they are the motto of AIFTP, and because of it, we had been very fortunate, we had been very lucky, we are very proud that we had been obliged by the Honourable Finance Minister, who has kindly acceded our request and to be the chief guest and to inaugurate this National Tax Conference today. Friends, it is a privilege for not for AIFTP, but each and every member of the tax professional, tax fraternity, that Honourable Finance Minister has recognized the work done by the tax professional in the build-up for the nation. We are here to support Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are here to support one tax, one country, that is GST. We are here to support right payment of taxes, not a penny less, not a penny more under income tax. We are here to support all the benefits which the government is announcing for the MSME sector and special schemes for the MSME sector. Friends, it is almost the time that we would be waiting for our Honourable Finance Minister to come and join this webinar. And as already told to you, already we are live on YouTube, already we are live on Facebook, we are live on Periscope TV, on the Twitter, and this is all because of the technical team and because of the support of you all, because of joining by you all. I would say, friends, your participation, your working, your encouragement is important, and because of that, we had been able to conceptualize and organize this function. Friends, we had been blessed with the presence earlier by the Chief Justice of India, by the Honourable Judges of the Supreme Court, Chief Justices of the Honourable High Court. Even we had been blessed with the presence of the Finance Minister earlier in the earlier regimes. But this is a special time. The COVID pandemic is there. The COVID pandemic has taken a toll on everybody, be it a professional, be it a chartered accountant, advocate, or a tax practitioner, be it the industry, whether it is a small, tiny, medium, MSME, or a large corporate. Everybody has taken a toll. We had seen the people migrating from one state to another and the government serving them with a helping hand. But the financial package is announced by the government. One of the largest financial packages which has been announced by the government. It has given support to the industry. But in this COVID pandemic times, we have to be cautious, we have to be vigilant. And because of this, we are here on webinar addressing, interacting with people, more than 1,000 people who have joined us from all over India. And this video would be reviewed and viewed time and again to hear the words of our Honourable Finance Minister. I would, on behalf of AIFTP, be simply stating that please take care, wear a mask, always be cautious. COVID pandemic is something which, till the vaccination comes, only your caution can protect you. So AIFTP has also launched a campaign about no mask, no entry. And that is a campaign which has been done by AIFTP, wherein AIFTP has always said that don't meet anybody if he is not wearing a mask. Don't allow entry to anybody if he is not wearing a mask. You don't go anywhere unless you are wearing a mask. And that is a motto. That is a motto of our Honourable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi sir, where he has fighted this coronavirus in such a manner, in such a beautiful manner, that our rate has been decreasing, and we have the one of the fantastic rate in the world, where the mortality rate is very, very, very low, and our recovery rate is more than 90%, and that is an achievement for India. That is an achievement for all of us, that in this COVID pandemic, when other countries are going into lockdown, most of the Europe is going into lockdown, the London, the United Kingdom is going into lockdown, and we are opening. We are into an unlock phase, and we are opening, and our infection rate and other rates are going down. The economy is booming. What we have seen about the economy, you have seen that the tax collection for the month of October under GST has again crossed 1 lakh crore mark. That was earlier in the month of January or February, and again this month, October. This shows that the economy is almost coming back on track. The issues are being sorted out. The support of the government is visible, and it is visible because the manufacturing sector has seen highest sales of the vehicles, one of the highest sales in the real estate, one of the highest sales in the FMCG sector, and also in certain other sectors. Yes, we know certain sectors are there, but for the tax professional, there is always one demand: simplification. And that simplification is must in the tax laws. We had sent a representation. Our Rajesh Mehta ji has worked hard and sent a representation on direct tax and indirect tax to the Honourable Finance Minister beforehand, asking for simplification on the certain aspects of the direct taxes, with suggestion given on various aspects, and also the simplification of the GST. Friends, but if you had seen the GST with the e-invoice and the e-way bill generation, that has been one of the largest in the month of October, and that has shown that the economy is coming back on track with the efforts of our Honourable Finance Minister and the efforts of the government led by our beloved Prime Minister, Honourable Shri Narendra Modi sir. Friends, it is time where we would be welcoming the Honourable Finance Minister. She would be joining in a minute or two, and we are.
Yes, sir, Pankaj ji. It's very great pleasure that our Honorable Finance Minister, respected Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, is just about to join us. So we all are eagerly waiting for respected Madam. So we are very much pleased. Madam is just about to join us.
Okay, Rajesh ji. So let us wait. I would request that all of other persons may switch off their videos so that we can have Honourable Finance Minister, and let the video of myself and Rajesh Mehta be on there. Mr. Rajesh Mehta would be officially welcoming her on behalf of the All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, as our National President Nikita Badeka is still not there. But whatever it is, we are simply thrilled, enthralled that our Honourable Finance Minister is about to join. And friends, it is a historic moment. It is a historic. Acha, Nikita ji is there. Nikita ji, I would be asking you to welcome her. Please. The time is very short. You will be there, getting only a 1 minute as per the directions. But let Honourable Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, the Honourable Finance Minister of Union of India, join, and it would be a privilege for all of us to welcome her on the platform of AIFTP, to welcome her in this National Tax Conference, to welcome her to inaugurate this National Tax Conference. And it is almost the time, friends, that we would be Honourable Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, the Union Finance Minister, would be joining. We are waiting. And
Ma'am will be joining any moment. She is in her chamber, so she will be here in a minute.
yes, sir, we are
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Yes, sir. So, friends, a proud moment for AIFTP, led by Mrs. Nikita Badeka, in the year 2020, a year of webinars, a year of digital revolution, and we are proud, very proud to welcome our Honourable Finance Minister. She would be joining in any moment. So take hard breath. I would simply say, be alert, and it is a historic moment. We had a privilege of welcoming many dignitaries, but welcoming the Finance Minister of India, it is always a historic moment in the era of in the life of a federation. And for the first time in All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Union Finance Minister would be joining. And I would simply reiterate time and again that it is the recognition of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners that the Honourable Finance Minister has granted her consent to be the chief guest of this National Tax Convention, National Tax Conference of this august body, All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. It is a recognition of all the tax professionals throughout India who are members or who are about to become members of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. Friends, we have Mrs. Nikita Padeka. If she would have been here 5-10 minutes earlier, we would have heard her more, but she is again very punctual of time, unlike me, and therefore we would be hearing her for very short time, because the limitation of time with the Union Finance Minister is there. We are, because of her greatness, because of her consent, we had been privileged to hold this webinar. Again, I would be stating, friends, a unique moment in the history of AIFTP. We are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Periscope TV, on Twitter, and all other social media platforms. So this is, people are watching from all media platforms throughout India and throughout the world. The circulation has been there, and because of it, that circulation, the people are very anxious. And the anxiousness, I can tell you, when we shifted the time from 2 to 3, I had got almost 500 calls today about, sir, is it real that the finance minister would be coming?
She's coming.
The moment has come. Friends, the moment has come. Honourable Finance Minister, Union of India,
Honourable Finance Minister is Jain.
here with us. We welcome her on behalf of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. We welcome Honourable Finance Minister on behalf of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. And ma'am, it is a privilege for all the tax professionals, all the taxpayers throughout the country to welcome you as the chief guest for this inaugural session. We welcome you, ma'am, and not to take much time, I would be directly requesting our national president, Mrs. Nikita Padeka, to welcome her with her speech in a very short time. Mrs. Nikita Padeka.
Honorable Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, a very good afternoon and a very warm welcome. Madam, you have been spending time, endless time in the pandemics for our nation, and we have seen you busy throughout the last 6 months, and we therefore value your participation today as a memorable and historic event, as you have agreed to be part of us as a chief guest. Madam, we at AIFTP wholeheartedly support the government's bold and initiative move to reduce the litigation by Vivad se Vishwas scheme, thereby unlocking huge resources spent on litigation. Nonetheless, we have received few feedback from our members since we were the first one to publish e-publication on Vivad se Vishwas scheme of 500 pages during the pandemics in April. Some feedbacks received by us are to the effect that it requires clarification, which would go a long way in encouraging the people to take benefit of Vivad se Vishwas scheme. Madam, we would be sending the same to you in a short while.
Thank you, Nikita ji.
Thank
you, Nikita ji, for the kind words. And I would requesting our National Vice President, Mr. Rajesh Mehta, to very shortly welcome our Honourable Finance Minister, so that we can request her then to hear her deliberation. Shri Rajesh Mehta. You have to unmute.
I feel honored to welcome our chief guest, vibrant and dynamic Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. Madam, you have always worked relentlessly and non-stop and took vital steps to support the country in tough times of COVID-19 by providing stimulus packages and various tax relief to the people of India. Your government's initiative of Atmanirbhar Bharat being the most praiseworthy, it has taken the dream of making India towards reality. You have brought transformative economic reforms across all sectors, with your uncommon wisdom and remarkable vision. Your exemplary leadership has taken India's economy to greater heights. Honorable Madam, I welcome you to the National Tax Conference 2020 on the theme of Digital Era in Tax Laws, organized by the All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, an association established in 1976, inspired by the ideology to have a common platform for all those who practice taxation laws. The main objective of AIFTP is to spread education in the matters relating to tax laws and accountancy. The members of the AIFTP includes senior advocates, solicitors, chartered accountants, and tax practitioners practicing direct and indirect taxes from all over the India. AIFTP is considered a national assemblage of tax professionals of India, with many eminent professionals as members. AIFTP has been making representations for better tax laws and in making easy the procedures for direct and indirect taxes. Honorable Madam, after the completion of this conference, we will be sending the outcomes as suggestions to the Ministry of Finance. We are sure that collective efforts of tax professionals and government will help India to achieve $5 trillion economy. I am grateful to AIFTP and to our Chief Advisor Pankaj Ghiya ji and all my professional colleagues across the India in making this conference a grand success. With these words, I now invite our Honourable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman to enlighten us with her words of wisdom. Thanks a lot to all the participants for joining us, and thanks a
Thank
lot
you.
to everyone.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. Friend, the moment has come what we wanted to hear. The Honorable Union Finance Minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, she will be delivering the blessings, her address on the platform of AIFTP. Ma'am, I welcome you on behalf of all the tax fraternity of All India Federation of Tax Professionals, Federation and Tax Professionals. Honorable Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman.
Thank you very much, and it's indeed a pleasure to be among you all, the Federation of Tax Practitioners. It's a pleasure also because the All India Federation of Tax Practitioners have actually been the catalyst in making compliance an easy and effortless matter for many tax assessees. For the effective role that tax practitioners play, the assessees, without much of a time lag or without much of an effort, are enabled to be good taxpayers. Facilitation happens through the tax practitioners, and counsel also is provided by tax practitioners for those tax assessees who would want to be honest, who would want to be serving the nation, and who would want to be better informed. And therefore, the role of the tax practitioners is very critical, particularly for a growing economy like India. Most citizens, when they talk of tax, they talk of how complicated it becomes, how stressful it becomes for them to do the compliance, even if they have the intent, because it is a bit too complicated for them to understand, and their core activity being something else through which they make their earnings, they do their business, they employ people, they also contribute by providing services or producing goods. Being their core activity, their mindset would not be to spend too much time to understand how the taxation laws are made, how is it necessary for them to comply in all the detail, and also the timely compliance. All this is actually got to be easier because the core activity is where various different calibrations which have to be done in the taxation laws, it has become a lot more voluminous, lot more layered, and lot more, therefore, complex. And that is where the role of tax practitioners becomes a very critical component in a growing economy like ours, where the government, irrespective of the party in power, the government tries to widen the tax net by bringing more people to become, taxpayers. At the same time, looking at ways in which the burden of tax can be brought down. Now, if this is something which the governments continuously keep doing, wanting to reduce the burden, wanting to bring in more people to be in the tax net, government alone cannot do the job. And the tax practitioner's role is the one which comes to play there. And as a result, they are the biggest, if anything, critical role players in revenue generation for the government. And can there be any more important exercise than revenue generation for a government? Because if you're looking at wanting to serve the people, particularly those who are in the extremities, like far-flung areas, or those who are really poor and who need help, if government has to have the money to serve them, government also has to generate a lot more income. Government has to generate a lot more income without burdening to play. Widen the tax net, reduce the tax burden and tax incidence, and therefore in time compliance is got to be promoted. In time compliance of taxation has got to be promoted, and that is the role wherein the tax practitioners come to become between the government and the tax assessees, and you have a critical role. Now, in the recent past, between 2014 and 19, and between 19 and today, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, who is a strong believer in simplification of tax, in making sure that honest taxpayers are respected and in fact honored, he has taken a lot of steps to make sure taxation becomes a simplified exercise and the burden on the citizen is reduced, both for compliance and for the payment of the tax. So in the recent past, not looking at too long ago, you had a very complicated taxation system and indirect taxation, which, because of the great efforts made by my predecessor, along with the state governments, Shri Arun Jaitley, made it possible to bring in the GST. As a result of which, today, instead of having too many taxation rates or even implementing authorities, we have one tax for the country. Yes, periodically there are issues about the technology with which we are making the system work. We are equally aware that Infosys, who's our, in a sense, who the service provider, is trying to improve the technology side of things. But as it is, GST has simplified it for the entire nation to be covered under one system. The rates are a different issue. Other than that, in the point of the simplification of taxation, you know that in 2019, September, not even waiting for the budget, the corporation tax was brought down. Corporate tax rates were brought down, and we are the lowest in terms of countries which have very attractive rate for corporate taxation. So in the direct taxation, we made a very big reform step in having brought down the corporate tax. We also abolished the DDT, the dividend distribution tax. And as a result of which, the doubts that many people had that there is a double taxation happening has been eliminated now. And the personal income tax too has been simplified to the extent that those who desire to have exemptions can go with the existing scheme, and those who are not desirous of exemption and want a simplified and a lower rate of tax have been moved over by the second option that we've given, so that eventually, if people understand that compliance is made easier, those who desire to want to be in this scheme of things can always come into this. That continues. The one with the exemptions continue because there are benefits for some people going through that scheme of things. But if rate and taxation alone is not the matter of discussion, on ease of compliance, because as tax practitioners, you know, while implementing the taxation, element of discretion has crept in to a large extent. And when discretion comes in, there's also this fear that there could be discretion which is so subjective and too far removed from the original intent of the taxation itself. So when the original intent remains too distant and discretion comes to play too often, it leads to all kinds of unsavory practices. And that is where it was thought important, and Prime Minister himself has repeatedly told all of us that use technology. By using technology, you're bringing in a greater level of transparency. And that is why, if you remember, that in the budget speech itself, I had assured that we should use technology to make sure that the discretionary element doesn't come in, and people are very clear about the rates that they have to pay. And if the systems of asking question and eliciting reply are all benefited by use of technology, both the field formations of officers and also the assessees will know where they stand at any point in time. This is the rate I have to pay, this is what I have to declare, and this is when I have to pay, is all very clear. So we brought in the faceless taxation, faceless assessment, so that assessment onwards, if there is an element of technology, there is no need for discretionary decision making. And that is why faceless assessment was tested on a pilot basis first, and then gradually was expanded. Now we have very clearly, because we have tested during the pilot testing, that it can work out possibly to the benefit of all. We have even brought in appeals now. Even appeals are going through the process of faceless. Now, did we just talk about it and leave it at that? No. After doing the pilot testing, and in fact, we had some associations which went into getting feedback also of those people who were pilot tested and got in the inputs of any tweaking that we had to do in the system. All that has been taken up. And therefore, now, even the field formations have been re-allotted in such a way that no geographical consideration will determine, because they are located in an X destination, which is in a particular state, they will be dealing only with that. In exceptional cases, yes, there are some geographical limitations which will work on them, but both for assessment and for appeal, now, since the whole matter largely rests on faceless, they have been assigned such duties so that they can take up faceless related assessments and also appeals. One other important thing which, as tax practitioners, I'm sure you're aware of, is that we had brought in a taxpayers charter. It was mentioned in the budget, and also we've taken it further after that, through which what could be expected of this taxation regime was made clear for a tax assessee. This is your right. These are the kind of things you can expect of the system. Your privacy will be respected. We honor it. All this has been now laid very clearly for people to know, and we is well coded now. And then in order to get them to understand what effort is required for this, we've also brought in document identification number. No piece of paper, even if it is electronically sent, can go without a document identification number. And we very clearly told the SSCs, and I'm sure you're aware, I went around the whole country in 2019 to say that document identification number now shall be generated at a central level, and no local officer can issue a document or questionnaire to any SSC without the DIN. And if it is issued with without the DIN, the tax assessee will be well within his rights or her rights to just throw it into the dustbin and say, sorry, that's not a legitimate document that I've received. We gave the confidence to the tax assessees that unless they receive it with the document identification number, they can treat it as non-est. It cannot be used for any legitimate purpose. And now pre-filling of forms are also happening. And with that, even that little oversight related problems of, oh, I had an account here, I forgot to disclose it, I'm earning interest out of this, I forgot to introduce it, will not happen. Because all the known details will always be populated into the paper which appears in your form, and you can either say at that stage, no, this is not right, I reject that. That's possible, so that you know that against your name, these are the claims which are coming. So we brought that kind of a system into it. And above all, for new small businesses like startups, we've simplified the entire process, and prosecution related norms have also been made relaxed. Even in spite of all this, there are cases which are pending from before the GST era, the excise related litigations, the VAT related litigations. And in order to sort them out, even last year, we came up with a scheme called the Vishwas scheme, the dates of which got extended so that people can once and for all close those cases and get out of the litigation that they've been suffering for years. We came with a clearly formula-based, matrix-driven. You'll know what your dispute is about, how much you have to pay. If you want to come into the scheme, what is it? Again, no element of discretion or subjective interpretations at all. So that was that's also very clearly brought in a bit of confidence in the tax assessees. Then the monetary limit for filing of appeals have also been rehashed, because of which I expect a lot of people to feel comfortable that they are not being dragged unnecessarily into things. There's a lot of promotion of digital approaches. The TDS, which was brought in, is essentially looking at cash withdrawals, about which a lot of discussion in the recent past has happened. Also looking at the cash transaction itself and trying to make sure that we move towards, slowly but steadily, move towards digital transactions. So with all this, we expect that the temptation for dealing with cash will be brought down, unless it's so desperate, unless it is so small that you cannot go in for a digital. It's always encouraging to know that there will be a greater promotion of digital ways of doing things, so that everybody somewhere is into the realm of getting noticed, through which the country's GDP's assessment also, because the commercial transactions, more and more that it comes under some kind of a purview, under some radar, the calculation of the Indian GDP itself is otherwise undermined, underestimated. So much is happening, but that is not taken on your consideration. Whereas if somewhere, each of these transactions is brought into some kind of a monitorable network, your GDP calculation can be so closer to the actual strength of this Indian economy. So the more we promote digital payment, the more we make every transaction monitorable, the more we understand that opening up on the digital front is more transparently encouraging for a process, the better we are as a country. And in that, I expect tax practitioners to play a very critical role. You have to talk to your clients and brief them on the various advantages that government is looking at when we promote digital payments, when we simplify taxation. Above all, I would expect all of you also to plan your calendar, your timetable in such a way that neither your clients nor Government of India is put to any kind of unnecessary duress, because you are the people who are going to bring in that catalytic change. If you plan it well, trickles, but in steady trickles, so that there is the welfare activity of the government doesn't suffer. So again, I reiterate this point that tax practitioners today are the most important component, because you educate a tax assessee, you counsel them, you tell them about the best ways of handling their tax liabilities. You help them to plan it in such a way that what is due comes from an honest taxpayer in time. And what you can tell them is, by more and more digitization, you help the country to have a better assessment of what its gross domestic product is. And therefore, again, completely recognizing the role of tax practitioners in building India's economy. I thank all of you all for having given me this opportunity to talk to you, and looking forward to all the constructive suggestions that can be given to us, and which can help this country take steps which will be helpful for everybody, taxpayers, tax practitioners, and the government. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful speech. And thank you for reposing confidence in the tax practitioners, the advocates, chartered accountant, tax practitioners fraternity. Ma'am, it is a privilege for all of us to welcome you and thank you. But as a memento, as a gratitude for your beloved blessings, I would be requesting Mr. Rajesh Mehta to give a e-memento to our Honourable Finance Minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman. Ma'am. Rajesh bhai, memento, e-memento.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It is just taking our
yes, sir. This e-memento we are presenting here. We extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation for your vibrant and visionary approach and your tireless efforts in the growth of Indian economy. And if physical memento, we would also take an opportunity, Honorable Madam, to personally visit you and hand over.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Now I invite our Mr. Pankaj Ghiya ji to give a vote of thanks. पंकज जी आपका माइक ऑन करना है, माइक ऑन कीजिए.
So ma'am has gone. Friends, it is a wonderful recognition of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners and recognition of all the tax fraternity. Friends, we would be starting the first technical session immediately on YouTube, and we would be coming live on YouTube with the first technical session. Friends, I would also be requesting you to rejoin us on the Zoom webinar, and the Zoom webinar links are already circulated in the WhatsApp group and other groups. The first technical session would be addressed by none other than the past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Mr. Ved Jain, senior chartered accountant from Delhi, and we would be listening to Mr. Ved Jain, the senior chartered accountant from Delhi and past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Mr. Ganesh Purohit would be the chairman. He is the past president of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, and he is the senior advocate from Jabalpur. Friends, continue with us on the YouTube and Zoom, and we would be we would be listening to you continuously. We would be having three technical sessions today. Continue to participate in the 3 technical sessions today, and it is being shifted on the YouTube. Now it is on YouTube. So just give me a minute gap, and we are live now on the YouTube. चिराग भाई चिराग भाई मीटिंग एंड कर दीजिए प्लीज चिराग भाई मीटिंग एंड कर दीजिए प्लीज फ्रेंड्स So friends, I welcome you on this Zoom platform. We are here now. Please join us. So friends, we are now live on YouTube. We are live on Zoom. We are just being joined by Mr. Ved Jain also. He is the panelist here, and we are being joined by Mr. Ganesh Purohit. Mr. Ganesh Purohit is about to join. Mr. Ved Jain is already here, and I would request sir to start his video. So his video has started.
Ghiya sahab, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You are absolutely clear, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, you are absolutely clear, and you are live on YouTube also, sir. And Mr. Ganesh Purohit would be joining in a minute or so. So, friends, after the wonderful speech by the Honourable Union Finance
Ghiya
Minister.
sahab, जरा screen भी share करने की वो कर देना.
Yes, sir. Permission दे दी. Sir, only a minute, and you are getting it, sir. So, friends, you are already the meeting has started. The Zoom link is already working, already circulated on the WhatsApp groups. Already we are live on YouTube again on the same YouTube link, and I had already given Mr. Ganesh Purohit. Has he joined? Make him a panelist. So Mr. Ganesh Purohit, the chairman of this session, has also joined. Mr. Ganesh Purohit can open his video, please. Mr. Purohit, if you are listening, please open the video.
Yes, sir.
Sir. So now I hand over the session to you, sir. Start the session. Our panelist, Mr. Honourable Shri Ved Jain, sir, who has very kindly consented to be the star speaker of today's session. Friends, to introduce Mr. Ganesh Purohit, senior advocate from Jabalpur, past president of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. He is my president also. It is a privilege that we are having him as the chairman in this first technical session. A man of vast knowledge, a man who is helping always others. Mr. Ved Jain, he does not need any introduction. He is a wizard on direct taxes. innumerable cases in the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, in the High Court, and he is the past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, a man who is called as an encyclopedia of direct tax laws. So I present two great personalities on the income tax, on the direct tax. One is our chairman, Mr. Ganesh Purohit, and other is the star speaker of the first technical session, Mr. Vivad Jain, senior chartered accountant from Delhi. Over to you, Shri Ganesh Purohit, sir.
Thank you, Pankaj ji. You have spoken a lot of good words for me. I know with Jain Saab personally because we were together in one of the cases, Rama panels of Satna. So we were together in one of the tribunal matters, and I have been knowing him personally. He is a very, very learned speaker. And friends, the today's subject which we have is Vivad se Vishwas. The name itself signifies the intention of the government. Free time to the assessee to attend to his business. They want to reduce Vivad and they want to build confidence in the public. But as you know, and Ved Jainji will be throwing light on many issues, but some of the mind-boggling issues which have come to my knowledge, I would like to inform this August gathering. That one is that after the amended Vivad se Vishwas scheme, the government has provided that even in case where the department is in appeal, the assessees can settle those issues also by paying 50% of the tax. Friends, as you all know, that Form 1 is totally auto-populated form and it has to be submitted through the website of the Income Tax Department. So you hardly have any option except to fill in the details in those forms. And it has come to my knowledge that those forms are not permitting the cases where in case the department has lost before CIT appeal or before the tribunal and the time for filing the appeal has also passed out. But somehow if the assessee wants to settle his disputes with the department, then when he goes on filling the form number 1, that form number 1 is not accepted by the system. So that I think in such situations, we cannot do anything else but for making representation to the government. Another issue which is there is in respect of the scheme says that the appeals which are pending on the specified date, that is 31st January 2020. And also it covers the cases where the appeals were due to be filed but have not been filed. Those are also covered. Now a question arises that in a case where the assessment order is made prior to 31/1/2020 and time for filing the appeal has also expired prior to 31/1/2020 and assessee files an appeal after 31/1/2020 by making an application for condonation of delay, then what will be the position in such circumstances? Because this type of cases are also not accepted by the system. What we can do is that we can make a request to the CBDT for issuing directions to the CIT appeals to decide the condonation applications at an early date so that these issues can be resolved. We are already late in our session, so we do not. I will request Vinod Jolly ji to, Ved Jain Saab to kindly give his address. But before that, I would only like to say that in a very recent Supreme Court decision, the Supreme Court has said that in cases where any exemption, deduction, or facility is granted by the government, then it has to be strictly followed. Unless there is a strict compliance of the conditions laid down in the scheme, the assessees cannot get benefit. So keeping that in mind, and I think that is a departure from the earlier decisions of the Supreme Court. So keeping that in mind, I suppose that Ved Jain Saab would be giving his address to this on this subject. So I hand over the mic to Ved Jain Saab. Over to Shri Ved Jain Saab.
Thank you, Purohit Saab.
No.
Chairman of the session, and thank you, Ghiya for the nice word you have spoken about me and of course, dear friend, it is a very big privilege for me to be part of this celebration of National Conference of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners Association and the Central Zone. Last week, I received a call from my dear friend Himanshu that I should be one of the speakers. So I thought it will be a big privilege for me. And I just heard the Finance Minister, Honourable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji addressing our members here, All India Federation. And she spoke about the various recent initiative of the department and the Finance Ministry, what it says, tax-friendly measure on this issue. I believe the today topic, Vivad se Vishwas, the scheme, which is also is a step in that direction with the Vivad se Vishwas. Friends, as we all know, last year the scheme came from the excise indirect taxes, which was Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas, giving a lot of concession to all those people to settle their dispute on indirect taxes. And one of the reasons given was that it is sunset clause, the GST has come in, let the all matter of service tax and excise duty prior to that date need to be settled down and bring it an end to that. Thereafter, there was a lot of demand, a lot of persuasion with the Ministry for Finance everywhere that a similar scheme should be brought here under the Income Tax Act to get out of people those who are in trouble on those issues where some here or there, some challenges have come up, some additions have been made up. And that's why this Vivad se Vishwas Act was introduced in the Parliament on 5th February, immediately after the budget. The Finance Minister has made a statement in the budget speech that she will be introducing it. And the bill was introduced. And as we all know, there was some issues in that bill. And thereafter, another bill was introduced in the second session of the budget session on 11th March. And the bill was passed later, which we call Vivad se Vishwas. Though it is called Vivad se Vishwas and the scheme is to settle the Vivad, but this act itself has created a Vivad, as Purohit has raised some of the issue, how to handle those issues, etc. One thing which we all need to agree on that part is that this scheme of Vivad se Vishwas is a scheme to settle dispute, and that settled dispute gives an opportunity for a taxpayer to come out clean and to move on in the life and to forget what has happened in the past. And when this type of settlement scheme comes up, you will obviously agree there has to be give and take. You may not get all the cake, entire cake. You will have to part a part of the cake. At the same time, department has also to share and give a part of the cake. And in that direction, this scheme has come up. I believe that's a good issue. We all know that this scheme has various issues, various challenges has come up. And my deliberation, I will say this scheme is now almost in public domain for more than 8 months, because in first week of February, we get to know. And now we are in the November, and this scheme over a period has been extended, which I will be deliberating upon on this issue. Now, it has given an opportunity to all taxpayers to come out clean and to settle all their dispute on this issue. Let me just start with some technical aspect of this scheme, and then I can, in time permitting, take few questions and to clarify some of the issue, what the issue need to be. As I understand, Honourable Chairman, sir, the time is just limited to me 50-55 minutes. So I will be deliberating on the scheme for 30-35 minutes, and thereafter, if time permitting, we can have question answer session on that part. So maybe I will have to rush through because there are some of the provision which you are aware, and then I will rush, and in case there is any question, then at the later part we'll take it. As I said, the name of the scheme clearly suggests Vivad se Vishwas. So there, the scheme is applicable only in respect of those matters where there is a Vivad. Vivad means where there is a dispute. So in case there is no Vivad, there is no dispute, then this scheme is not applicable. And that Vivad and that dispute should be in existence as on 31st January 2020. That's a cutoff date which has been made in the scheme. So that's a very important date, that 31st January 2020. On that day, if any taxpayer has any dispute with the department, that matter can be settled. Now, the second issue immediately arises is, what is dispute? Whether when I am before the assessing officer, I have filed my return is being scrutinized, is there is a dispute? Answer will be no. Because there is no dispute, you have filed the return, he's just verifying it. He has not created a dispute. It may create later on, but not right away. So for the purpose, the scheme decide what is a dispute at that way. And for as a dispute, though it is not defined, but it has a given who has a right. And for that, the Vivad se Vishwas Act defines appellant. Appellant is the only person who is entitled to avail this scheme. And now who can be an appellant? Appellant is a person who has filed an appeal before the Commissioner Appeal, before the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, or before the High Court or Supreme Court. So meaning thereby a person who has filed, as SSC has filed an appeal, and that appeal is pending as on 31st January, he is entitled to. But now there is a possibility that you may have not won the case in tribunal, you may have won the case in tribunal, High Court, but department may be challenging that decision before the higher forum. After Commissioner, department can file an appeal before tribunal or High Court or Supreme Court. So it also says that appellant will also include where an appeal has been filed by the department and that said appeal is pending before any of the forum which is defined now. Because state appeal, there is no appeal, but about the department, it is tribunal, High Court and Supreme Court, the appeal is pending. So that also covered. Now the third, and it also include writ petition. It's not necessary that it should be 246A or 254. It can be a writ petition where you have filed an appeal where you're disputing it. That is also covered on this page sheet. But when I talk about a writ petition, it does not cover a writ petition in respect of where 148 proceedings have been initiated because assessment has not been completed. So that part is also not covered. What is excluded is, similarly, when you have gone to authority for advance ruling, that is also not a dispute because you want to come out clearly what seek guidance. So that is also when you are before the authority for advance ruling, that is not there. But yes, after authority of advance ruling has given its view and you have challenged that ruling of the authority before a writ petition, then there is a dispute that you will be entitled to settle on that part. Now, having said so, there is a second situation where you have got an order, but the time to file an appeal has not expired, but you intend to file an appeal. So in order to address this issue also, the scheme provides that in case you are any order or appellate order you have received, the time period for filing appeal has not expired as on 31st January 2020, we will presume that there is a dispute and you intend to file an appeal. So obviously those cases can also be covered on that part. Having said so, there can be a third situation. Third situation is where you, after getting an order, you may not intend to file an appeal. You may like to go on a revision petition. So in that case, revision petition has also been covered under 264, where you are where you have filed a revision petition under 264, and that revision petition is pending as on 31st January 2020 before the Commissioner of Income Tax. So that is also covered. But here, that extension, that in case you have a right to file a revision petition, but you have not filed the revision petition and the time period has not expired, which is 1 year from the date of the order, that has not been given. Reasons are obvious, that revision petition is filed in very, very rare cases, and department does not want to create a dispute without a dispute. Having passed an order, you have been accepted and having not filed the revision petition. So department doesn't want to give you a period that where time period has not expired, you can still file. So that is also out on that part. Now, these are and the fourth situation can be where an assessment order, draft assessment order has been passed, and you have filed a petition, an application under section 144C before the dispute resolution panel. So that is another area where this area you can file it. There can be another situation where authority, DRP has passed an order, but final draft assessment order has not been passed, or where a final assessment order has been passed, but the time to file appeal before the CIT or ITAT has not expired. Those cases are also covered. So meaning thereby, this is applicable to all where dispute as on 31st January 2020 is pending. And the dispute I have defined, explained you, these are the 5 areas I believe where a dispute can be pending on that part. Having said so, now there has to be some carve out where the government intend every person is eligible, but government intend that certain classes of people where I believe the default which the government think is of such a nature, he should not get a concession and he should not be given an exit door under this clause. So 2 cases which I believe government is a little bit sentimental about it, about the foreign bank account. So where there is an addition on account of any foreign income on foreign assets, that assessment year is not covered. that assessee is not debarred. So there are two classes of people. There are two exclusions. One, assessment year wise, one person wise. So there are 4 class cases where a person has not been debarred, but particular assessment year has been debarred. One, where you have where in the any assessment year, any addition or dispute is relatable to any foreign income or asset, that year cannot be covered in the Vivad se Vishwas, this scheme. Second, where an addition has been made on the basis of any information received under the exchange of information. Government of India has entered into various authorities outside government to exchange of information, which is by and large foreign income and foreign assets. So that those areas, those assessment year are also excluded that part. Third, where a prosecution for that particular assessment year has already been initiated. It is not a show cause only, where the prosecution has already been initiated for any default in the Income Tax Act for that assessment year, then that assessment year shall also not be eligible. And the fourth and the most important is where in a search and seizure cases, assessment has been framed, as we know, either under section 153A or 153C, and as normally is, the search year is assessed under section 143.3, and the disputed tax is 5 crore or more, then that year is also not eligible. So these are the 4 category of people, or 4 assessment year which have been apt. When I'm talking of this 5 crore disputed tax year, let me make it clear, it does not debar those all tax search and seizure cases. Even in those cases where search and seizure has taken place, and in any particular year the tax in dispute is less than 5 crore, that will also be eligible. We all know in a search and seizure under section 153 or 153C, normally 7 assessment year get involved, 6 year previous and 1 is a year of search. Assessee will still be eligible to go and seek redressal under this scheme for those assessment year where tax in dispute is 5 crore less. I will just talk about this tax in dispute because that's a major area and I think important area which as a tax practitioner, we should understand what is the meaning in tax in dispute, what is called disputed tax on that part. This is important area, and when I will be explaining it, then I will explain that even penalty, etc., is not to be considered for the purpose of search and seizure cases. So these are the 4 years. In those years, that particular assessee will not be eligible to avail this scheme. Now, there are certain offenses in case the person per se has been debarred. One area is where a prosecution has been initiated under PMLA, under Prevention of Corruption Act. Now, those people against whom these prosecution, narcotics, drugs, etc., various issues are there, those persons are not eligible. Similarly, those persons against whom the Coffee Posa prosecution has been initiated, those people have also been debarred from benefiting. When I'm talking Benami also is one of the important area where in the case of Benami, any prosecution has been launched, then that person is also ineligible. I may just tell all my friend here, under Benami law, it is the initiating officer who passes a provisional attachment order. Thereafter, it is the adjudicating authority which confirms or revokes the order of the IO. But in those cases, in Benami cases where adjudicating authority has confirmed the order of the IO, then normally department launches prosecution. So in this case, it need to be very one should be very careful that in case any Benami proceeding are going on, then in declaration must be filed immediately. I will come to later on, because when we talk of a prosecution, all other matters are linked to 31st January. But so far prosecution is concerned, the Act clearly says the prosecution has been launched or initiated on the date of filing, before that filing a date of declaration. So meaning thereby, if there is prosecution which has been launched, say on 3rd November and you have filed a declaration on 2nd November, you will be eligible. But in case you have filed a prosecution has been launched on 3rd November and you file application now, you will be debarred. So date of filing prosecution is crucial and date of declaration. So in all those cases where there is an apprehension that any prosecution can be launched, so that area can be worked out on that part. These are the, I say, who is eligible and who is ineligible. These are the 2 categories. Now question arises why I should go into this and what should I do and what I should. Issue is very simple on that part. When the Act was introduced on 31st January 2020, The planning was that if government wanted to have everything before 31st March 2020, and they said with later higher rate of tax, 30th June 2020. We all know in March we had this corona pandemic, and that everything got postponed. And now after two amendments, the dates have been further extended. And the date have been now extended is earlier that what was the date of 31st March and 30th June 20, that has lost significance. When we had an act in the parliament in September 2020, the government has made an amendment giving it an enabling provision that it can fix the last date for making declaration. It can fix the date of making payment. Now, government has issued a notification just a few days back where the date of filing declaration has been crystallized as on 31st December 2020. Date of payment without additional tax has been fixed at 31st March 2021. This is a big relief, which otherwise was creating a problem. I will come to this part later on, because earlier the part was that the moment you file a declaration and the government, the commissioner or the designated authority was supposed to file an order, given an order within 15 days. And after receipt of that order, you were required to make payment of the taxes within 15 days. Now, with this new amendment, which government by notification has also explained by a press release, you can file the declaration up to 31st December. And thereafter, you need not make the payment till you can make the payment up to 31st March 2021, which I believe is a quite good administrative step. It will encourage all taxpayers to file declaration at the earliest, give sufficient time to the department to review and go through those declarations. And after acceptance, will give sufficient time to the taxpayer to pay the taxes. Without these date being extended or being worked out, there would have apprehension why I should file my declaration immediately. If I file in the month of November and government tomorrow issues me a form number 3, then I will be required to pay taxes within form number 4 within 15 days. So that condition having been waived, it has made the life much easier. But the issue is how to compute a disputed tax and what are the gray area, which you will, I think, maybe all be interested. We must understand there are 4 definitions which are very relevant. Disputed income, disputed tax, disputed interest, disputed penalty, disputed fee. In the Income Tax Act, as we understand, a person is required to pay tax, which is normally we pay advance tax, TDS, etc., which is a normal rate, 30% surcharge education. So disputed tax, one is a disputed tax. Then there is a interest. We all know the interest is leviable under 234A, 234B, 234C, 220, etc., where there are various provisions for levying of interest. Then we know there are penalty provision for concealment of income, 271(1)C, now 270A. There other provision 270D, 270E, 271 capital C for default in deducting TDS, etc. And then we know there is a disputed fee, which is a later phenomena which has come up now regarding 234E for late filing of TDS statement, etc. 234E or 234. These are the fee. So these are a different nature. Then there is a disputed income. Now that is the important criteria to understand in order to address and to remove all apprehension. The government the act has made it very clear what is the disputed income. Disputed income is the income which you are disputing in appeal. And tax, surcharge and education cess thereon is to be included on their part. And disputed in tax is tax payable on the disputed income. That's the issue. Now, the scheme says in case there is a dispute going on any income, and if you want to settle that, you need to pay the disputed tax. And the moment you pay disputed tax, then any interest thereon, any penalty thereon need not be paid, and prosecution will also, in case there is, will be waived off. No issue. And now issue arises is how to compute the disputed tax. Disputed tax is the tax on the income which you are disputing. As I said, there can be 2 disputes. You are disputing or the department is disputing. Now take a case for the purpose of understanding on that part. I have filed my return of income declaring 10 lakh rupees of income. So on 10 lakh rupees, I am supposed to make my tax, whatever is advance tax, TDS, and in case there is a default in 234 BHE, I will pay it down. My assessment take place, scrutiny 143.3. Assessing officer makes addition, 3 addition. For the purpose of better understanding, I'm just making it out on that part. And for the purpose of understanding, I am not picking a larger number of income, smaller number of income, so that we can just calculate ourselves while I am deliberating upon this issue. But for the purpose of appeal, I will ignore that circular of the department of monetary limit. The department is not filing appeal. So we just for the purpose that we will ignore it out. My income return is 10 lakh rupees. Assessing officer after scrutiny passes an order assessing my income at 17 lakh rupees. Simple. And he make 3 addition. There is a cash credit loan taken by me from my friend 4 lakh rupees. He doesn't agree and he makes addition. There are certain commission or certain expensive advertisement I have incurred, which he says you have failed to establish and prove. And I believe this is are not genuine or whatever it is, 2 lakh rupees. And 1 lakh rupees, he says another addition of various expenses you have incurred. I believe these are personal in nature. I disallow it. 17 lakh rupees. Now, against this order, you are entitled to file an appeal before the commissioner. And you have filed an appeal before the commissioner. But while filing an appeal, you believe 1 lakh rupees is too small. I don't want to contest. So you take 2 grounds. Learned AO has gone wrong in making an addition of 4 lakh rupees under section 68 on account of the loan. The Learned AO has gone wrong in making an addition of rupees 2 lakh paid the commission or the advertisement expenses incurred by the city. Now, this appeal is pending as on 31st January 2020 before the commissioner appeal. And you want to settle this dispute and you say, let's forget it by the piece. Now, your assessed income is 17 lakh rupees. Dispute is only 6 lakh because your grounds of appeal are only on 6 lakh. 1 lakh, there is no dispute. So what you have to do is you have to pay tax on 6 lakh rupees. On balance 11 lakh rupees, whatever is the tax interest you are liable to pay. On 6 lakh rupees, for the purpose of easy calculation, I am just ignoring surcharge or education says, 1,80,000 rupees is the tax, 30% I believe after 10 lakh rupees is there. You pay 1,80,000 rupees, that's all. Then 234A, B, C, penalty 270, everything goes out. Simple, simplicity. Nothing happened on that part and that's appreciation. The second aspect is now I go a step further. CIT appeal in this case has passed an order before 31st January. He has given you a relief of only 2 lakh rupees. He had deleted addition of commission or expenses. He said, no, these are established, he allowed. And 4 lakh rupees addition is confirmed. Now you have filed an appeal against the disallowance of addition of 4 lakh rupees under section 68 before the tribunal. Department has also filed an appeal against just 2 lakh rupees of deletion of the addition. For the purpose of this, my discussion, monetary limit of the department I'm ignoring out. Though for 2 lakh rupees department is not entitled, I believe maybe higher amount is there. Now, if you want to settle this dispute, you have 2 options. If you believe department appeal is not sustainable, you need not file declaration for that. But if you want to buy peace for both, you are eligible to file for both. If you want to settle your dispute of 4 lakh rupees, you need to pay 1,20,000 rupees. Just pay 1,20,000 rupees. Withdraw appeal, you are out. But in case you want to settle 2 lakh rupees appeal also, you can do it. On 2 lakh, the tax is 60,000 rupees, but you just need to pay 50% of this. So you pay 4 lakh, 1,20,000 rupees. On 2 lakh, you pay 30,000 rupees, 1,50,000, both appeal get settled. But the scheme says you have a right to file either for both or one, whichever you choose is it. But one thing very clear, you cannot make pick and choose about your appeal. In my example, your only one ground is there. There is a possibility that in your appeal, there may be more than one ground. Another addition of something like this. Then you cannot say, I will pick up one ground, I will pay this on tax and I will contest the other. You have to withdraw the appeal in the entirety. Cherry picking is not allowed and you have to withdraw. This is the crux of the issue of what we call disputed income and disputed tax. Now, another issue is disputed interest. Now, as you will also immediately ask a question, when my disputed tax is settled, what is the issue of disputed interest? Agreed. In case there is an income dispute, interest penalty automatically goes. But there is a possibility that you may have accepted income, but you may be disputing some interest. That you may say, income, there is no dispute on income, but my levy of interest under section 234B is not justified because the entire income was subject to TDS and there was a failure on the part of the deductor, and hence there should not be an interest under section 234B. There may be any other reason also. 148, we normally challenges whether 234 is a leviable or not. In case your appeal or your dispute at any forum is with reference to interest, income is not in issue, then you need to pay this on settle this dispute by just paying 25% of the amount, and you can get out of this. There is a possibility that you may have accepted the income, but penalty you may be contesting. In that area also, the government says, in case there is no dispute on income and you are contesting on penalty, then you can settle that penalty also by paying 25%. There can be number of penalties which are not linked to income, like penalty for accepting cash, penalty for repaying cash. 269 SS is under 271D, 271E for repayment of that. So there are various penalties applicable which are not linked to the income. Even those penalties, or for TDS also, those penalty can also be settled by paying just 25% of the penalty amount, and you can get out of this issue on that part. But one thing very clear, where income is there, interest penalty automatically gets settled for that part. In case there is interest part, interest gets settled, or penalty concession, that gets settled also. And here, when we talk of interest levied or leviable, both. So meaning thereby, it is not necessary that by that date when you are settling it, or you would have received a notice for that, penalty levied or leviable, interest levied or leviable, fee levied or leviable. So you can settle it out, but you dispute. Similarly, for the fee, you can get out of this by paying 25% of this amount on this issue. Scheme is very simple on that part. All you need to do is that you need to file form number 1, giving your particular of the appeal pending or the dispute pending where the forum is. I do agree that there are various issues coming up in the utilities, which I think we can take up on later on. But once you file this declaration, and then along with this, there is a form number 2, which gives you that intention, yes, you will comply with the condition and you will waive off all your right for further litigation, etc. Thereafter, department will issue form number 3 to you, which gives you an indication. One thing need to be noticed on this part is, when form number 3, when you are filing 1 and 2, you need to give the particular of the income in dispute, tax payable, tax paid. An important aspect of the scheme is any amount of tax paid under this form is non-refundable. And for that purpose, I will just come to this suggestion, how you to handle it. Form 1 and 2, you need to file. Thereafter, normally within 15 days, which the department is taking a reasonably higher time, they will issue a form number 3. After receipt of form number 3, you are supposed to make the payment of the tax which has been determined in form number 3. And the time period now available is 31st March 2021. So one of the suggestions will be, please file the form number 1 and 2 at the earliest. Now, when you are filing form number 1 and 2, you determine tax. My suggestion to all my friends will be that whatever is the tax you are determining, I will suggest to pay it in advance as a regular tax, rather than asking the department to make a create a demand. Why so? Because in case any tax is paid under the declaration, meaning thereby on the basis of form number 3 and then form number 4 coming to you when you're depositing it, that tax is non-refundable under any circumstances. As against this, any tax which has been paid earlier, that tax is refundable in case anything goes wrong, though no interest is allowable on that part. I will just give you an example, 2-3 examples to understand implication of this. One is, suppose my income in my same example was 17 lakh rupees. Now I am going for a declaration of this 4 plus 2 lakh. And as I say, my determination is 1,50,000 rupees. Now there is one possibility that in order to avoid interest, etc., I would have paid the entire amount before. which would include interest also, because when the assessment order comes, the assessing officer levy 234 B, C, whatever it is. So as against 1,50,000 rupees, I may have paid say 2,10,000 rupees, which may include tax, etc. Now, when I file a declaration, department will charge 1,50,000 rupees. Department will issue a refund of 60,000 rupees. Interest paid on this amount of 4 lakh, 2 lakh, which you want to settle, is not payable, and hence the department will return it. But department will not pay on interest on refund, 244A, which we are otherwise eligible. So in case any refund become due, that amount will not be refunded to you. Now, second case is part of the amount has been recovered. My demand is 1,50,000, which I need to pay. 1,20,000 department by way of attachment or by way of bank, something like this, for the putting pressure, they have recovered it. Now, my net amount payable will be 30,000 rupees. I will suggest that you pay 30,000 rupees, because then it is a regular tax. But in case you pay 30,000 rupees post declaration, which you are entitled to, there's no harm in paying doing it. But tomorrow something goes wrong with your declaration, this 30,000 rupees will never be adjustable. This is non-refundable. But if you have paid a regular tax, that will be adjustable. There is another area which needs to be taken care of it.
Ji, you have 5 minutes more.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I need to rush it through. There's another area which we need to take care of it. In case of a brought forward losses, or in the case of a losses which is assessed, department has given an option whether you want to assess, get the benefit of the loss, or you want to carry it forward. In this regard, my suggestion will be, in case, as in the example, if you have a, say, loss of 1 crore rupees return file, addition is of 1 crore 20 lakh rupees, demand is of 20 lakh rupees, you will have an option either to pay tax on 20 lakh rupees or pay tax on 1 crore 20 lakh rupees and carry forward the loss of 1 crore rupees. My suggestion will be, in case that 1 crore rupee loss has been adjusted subsequently against any other income in subsequent year, then you please don't take the benefit. You pay the tax of full tax on that same year on 1 crore 20 lakh rupees, allow the loss to be carried forward. Because in the subsequent year, in case demand is created, then interest will also be leviable. But in this year, you will be required to pay tax only on 1 crore 20 lakh rupees without interest. So you need to take it in consideration. However, in case that loss has adjusted and you have not utilized it, or it has expired, then you get it adjusted. So in my example, if you have adjusted loss in subsequent year, then you pay tax on 1 crore 20 lakh rupees. That's a better way. But in case that loss has never been utilized later on, it has expired after 8 years, then you take benefit of 1 crore, pay tax on 20 lakh rupees. This is one area. Another area is search area, where the tax payable is more than 125%. That's a need to be paid. Declaration has to be filed firm. There are few issues which have not been addressed and which the department need to be addressed. There are 5-6 areas. One is where a dispute is pending with the assessing officer. 148, my assessment has been made for 12-13 or 11-12, penny stock, capital gain, etc. And I have the same type of income in 13-14, 14-15, 15-16. There is no reason why the department should not allow it. I had given my deliberation yesterday also, or earlier also. I have been telling the department that this is a gray area you need to address, because by enforcement, you will not be able to get hold of all these people. And a person who makes a declaration under this, it is not a voluntary disclosure, it will be a beneficial to the department. Because out of the 100 cases, so motor people, 30, 40, 50 people will walk in. But in case you follow 148 later on, you will not be able to get hold of more than 10%, and you will not be able to recover taxes out of 10% of those 10%. So better way is to get hold of that. Another area is where department circular has said protective addition in one hand and substantive in another hand, we will give the benefit. But what happened where substantive addition in two hands? That has to be adjusted. Another area is where capital versus revenue expenditure, assessee claim revenue and department is capital, whether subsequent year adjustment will be allowed if I want to settle the dispute. Same is when income is 1 year or another year. I have shown the income in, say, second year, department want to assess in first year. So in case I want, my income is getting assessed in first year and I'm paying taxing and settling it down, why benefit will be allowed on that purpose? These are the various areas of which issues will need to be considered. I am of the view, friends, looking to the time constraint, that this is a golden opportunity for all taxpayer who have done something here wrong or here to come out clean. Particularly all penny stock, all capital gain, all this accommodation entries, all were a dispute. businessman and taxpayer need to move on the life, do business, not to get involved on this part. And this will be a golden opportunity, paying just 30% tax, nothing more, and 25% penalty in case there be. I think this one of the best scheme which has come up. There are hiccups on this part, something, but everything cannot come on the plate. There are some issues, some suggestions which we are working on, and that part I believe over a period of time may get addressed at C2. But here you take the opportunity. My request to all my colleague here in All India Federation of Tax Practitioners Association will be, please search out in your office all cases. Wherever there is any dispute, everywhere as working out, please do it and advise the client to avail this opportunity and to move on in the life. That is what I believe is a very, very good opportunity. On that part, I believe looking to deliberation and looking to chairman's permission, etc. If there are time available, then question, etc. Otherwise, friend, thanks a lot for giving me these opportunities, and I need to adhere to the discipline or time allotted to me. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Vedji. I'm sorry because the time constraint is there, and still there was a lot of aspects to be covered. You could not touch TDS and other issues relating to TDS. So I think more time should have been allotted. No problem. We will have another session with you on this issue. I will request the organizers, because we are planning to have sessions month by month on this aspect. So very soon we will have the session with you on this issue, because 4:50 there is session of Girish Ahuja ji, and I am also not taking any time to further elaborate on this issue. So thank you very much to be with us, and we'll again come back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh ji, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, respected Vedjan Sahab. Thank you, respected Ganesh Purohit Sahab. And now I invite our next session speaker, respected Girish Ahuja Sahab.
I take your permission to leave, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. And now I invite Dr. Girish Ahuja Sahab, respected.
जी, मैंने आपकी बात सुनी, आप जा रहे हैं. मैंने सुना आपका लेक्चर थोड़ा. चलिए, thank you very much. Thank you, please. Please take care. Thank you.
Dr. Girish Ahuja Sahab does not need any introduction. Every taxpayer and every tax practitioner, every chartered accountant of India knows very well Dr. Girish Ahuja Sahab. And without listening to Dr. Girish Ahuja Sahab in our life, we cannot be successful. So we are very lucky that today respected Girish Ahuja Sahab has given us a time to deliver lecture, to bless us with his words of wisdom on the issue of faceless assessment and faceless appeals. So without wasting time, I directly invite respected Dr. Girish Ahuja Sahab to deliver his words of wisdom. Respected
Good
Girish
evening
Ahuja
to
Sahab.
all. CA Rajesh Mehta ji, Vice President AIFT, Ganesh Purohit ji, Pankaj ji, Vinay Jolly ji, the other dignitaries who are sitting in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Well, friend, regarding faceless assessment, everybody is against me and he's after me. What have you done? Sir, I have not done anything. We were given an instruction while we were framing income tax law, the new income tax law, which has not come. Had we then Mr. Jaitly been there, he would have come, the new one. But of course, we submitted the report on 18th of August 2019. When we were making this law, we got an instruction that we have to switch over to faceless assessment scheme. At that particular point of time, we deliberated that issues and decided that we should recommend only zonal level or regional level faceless scheme, not at the national level, to give it a try. Once it is successful, then we can expand it to the national level. That was the idea given at that particular time. But PMO directly told us, nothing doing. PM नहीं मान रहे हैं. आपको सबके लिए एक ही बार में ऑपरेशन खत्म करना है और आपको नेशनल लेवल की स्कीम को बताना है. मुझे गाली पड़ रही है कि ये क्या कर दिया. सर, हमने कुछ नहीं किया. जो भी किया पीएम की इंस्ट्रक्शंस थी, वो सुनने वाले नहीं थे. उन्होंने ये कहा कि 25 सितंबर को मैं फेसलेस अपील ले आऊंगा और वो 25 सितंबर को आ गई. आपने नोटिस किया 25 सितंबर को उनको नोटिफाई करना पड़ा। आदमी तो ऐसे ही होना चाहिए, डंडे के जोर पे काम होता है, वैसे काम नहीं होता है। हम लोगों को when we are chartered accountant, I remember on 1st of July 2016 or it was 16 or 17 when GST was introduced. At that time, it was launched by the Prime Minister and we got a good lesson from him at that particular time. बहुत उन्होंने कुछ लोगों को क्रिटिसाइज किया था कि चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट क्या कर रहे हैं, प्रेज भी किया था बट क्रिटिसाइज भी किया था। वी वर डीमोटिवेटेड कि ये क्या हुआ, हमें इतना कुछ कहा, वी वर्क सो हार्ड, बट कहते हैं जो कराता है चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कराता है, हमें को ये कहा गया था। उसके बाद अब डीमोटिवेटेड डिपार्टमेंट है क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा आई वांट टू रिमूव द करप्शन। करप्शन तो वो सोच रहे हैं कि हम क्या करप्ट थे जो हमें कह रहे हैं कि वी वांट टू रिमूव द करप्शन। ठीक है, हर प्रोफेशन में, हर जगह, हर इंडस्ट्री में या कहीं भी कह लो, इवन पॉलिटिक्स में कुछ ना कुछ एब्रेजन्स होती हैं, कुछ लोग गलत होते हैं, बट एवरीवेयर इट इज नॉट देयर। अभी भी मैं बता रहा हूं सर, आप लोग इनकम टैक्स के काफी काम करते हैं, कंपेरेबल इफ यू कंपेयर विद द अदर डिपार्टमेंट्स और अदर टैक्स रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट, इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट इज द मोस्ट ऑनेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट एज कंपेयर टू द अदर। कंपैरिजन की बात कर रहा हूं मैं, ये नहीं कहूंगा मैं कंपैरिजन कर रहा हूं राजेश जी, आई एम कंपेयरिंग, बाकी मैं कुछ नहीं कहूंगा। वो भी डीमोटिवेटेड है, क्या है हमारी क्या वैल्यू रह गई। अब तो पहले फेसलेस में अगर डीमोटिवेटेड हुए, अब तो सारे कमिश्नर्स कह रहे हैं व्हाट इज दिस, व्हाट इज दिस यार, वी हैव बीन कन्वर्टेड इनटू फेसलेस, और क्या होगा, कैसे काम होगा। अब सर जो भी होगा अच्छा ही होगा, जो भगवान करता है अच्छे के लिए करता है। और कभी आप सोचें कि हट जाएगा, अब भूल जाइए। मैं आपको बता रहा हूं गणेश जी, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, ये सोचे कि वो दोबारा वापस नहीं आएंगे शायद अगला इलेक्शन में, तो वो गलत मुगालते में है, आना तो उनका ही, आना तो उनको ही है, तो क्यों सोच रहे हैं। ये तो रखना ही रहेगा और अच्छे के लिए होता है। परमात्मा को कहिए जो करता है वो अच्छे के लिए करता है। मैं बता रहा हूं व्हाई। देयर इज ए फाइनेंशियल इंटेलिजेंस यूनिट ऑफ द इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट। Let me, sir, Mr. Purohit, they have tons of information available with them. Tons of information. So much so if the information, मैं आपको बताऊं, they have made 360-degree profile of everyone. 360-degree profile. When we were making the law, they told us we have made 360-degree profile. I said, please show us. Please demonstrate us that you have made it. He said, please give your PAN number. I gave the PAN number to them and they corrected it. The first screen which came on this laptop was my name, my address, my PAN number, my thing. These are some normal thing which was there. The second screen when they switched over was how many assessment completed, under which section completed, is there any tax due, if there is any refund due, is there any 148 notice, or was assessment under 143.1 or 143.2? Every record of the past 10-15 years was there. I said nothing to it. This is otherwise available to you. Next screen. How many bank account I have in India? Complete detail of those bank account, name, address, bank detail and bank branch number. वो भी हमने दी हुई रिटर्न में, वहां से उन्होंने लिंक करनी। What was the balance on 31st March? They knew it. Saving bank. Next screen. How many FDRs I have? राजेश जी पूरी डिटेल राजेश की मेरी FDR की थी, लेकिन मैंने उनको कहा ये तो 26 AS में आ ही जाता है, तो आपने 26 AS से ले ली थी, तो कौन सी खास बात। कहते रुक जाइए, जिसपे TDS नहीं कटता, लेस देन 40,000 भी है, उसकी भी डिटेल ये रही आपकी, क्योंकि 206A में स्टेटमेंट जाती है और वो अपलोड होती है डिपार्टमेंट को, वहां से उन्होंने डाउनलोड करके सबके पैन नंबर में डाल रखी थी मेरी पूरी डिटेल। ओके, आपको क्या बताओ राजेश जी, डिविडेंड इज नाउ बीन शिफ्टेड टू बी टैक्स इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द शेयर होल्डर, एम आई राइट। अभी शेयर होल्डर क्यों होगा, आप अपना 26 AS निकालना, अगर आपको 40 रुपए भी डिविडेंड आया है तो 26 ईयर्स में लिखा है, वो टीडीएस वाला नहीं, पुरोहित साहब, टीडीएस वाला नहीं, जिसपे टीडीएस नहीं भी कटा उसकी भी पूरी डिटेल वहां पर है। कैसे छुपाओगे? हम तो पहले कहते थे इनको कैसे पता लगेगा कि हमें इतना डिविडेंड आया है। अब तो पूरी डिटेल वहां पर दी है, आपको रिटर्न से भरनी है। थोड़े दिन रुक जाइए, कैपिटल गेन भी कैलकुलेट होकर आएगा। जो आपने शेयर बेचे, अगर जो एनएसडीएल वगैरह से बेचे तो कैलकुलेट होकर आएगा। थोड़े दिन रुकी जाइए, वो तो पोस्टपोन हो गया। आपको 80G की रिडक्शन तभी मिलेगी जब आपके उसके ऊपर डिटेल आपका नाम होगा लिस्ट में, नहीं तो 80G की रिडक्शन भी नहीं मिलेगी। मैं तो पुरोहित जी ये कह रहा हूं, थोड़े दिन और रुक जाइए। वो तो कहेंगे ये रही आपकी इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न, साइन कर दीजिए बस, हमें और कुछ नहीं चाहिए, हमारे पास पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन है, सिर्फ साइन कर दीजिए। अरे सर, आगे उन्होंने मुझे दिखाया मेरे म्यूचुअल फंड कितने हैं, सारे डिटेल। एक ऐसा म्यूचुअल फंड मिला राजेश जी जो मुझे भी नहीं पता था, 2 लाख रुपए। और मैंने कहा ये कौन सा है, दिखाइए दिखाइए दिखाइए। मैंने कोई 20 साल पहले कोई 5 या 10 हजार रुपए में यूटीआई में म्यूचुअल फंड करा लिया होगा, ग्रोथ स्कीम। दैट टाइम द एड्रेस आई गॉट, माय एड्रेस वाज चेंज, और ज्यादा उनके पास इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं थी। पैन नंबर बाद में लिंक किया होगा, मेरे पास वो इंफॉर्मेशन थी नहीं। मैं अगले दिन जाकर यूटीआई गया और मुझे 2 लाख का फायदा हो। मैंने थैंक यू करा, थैंक यू इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट कि आपने मेरी इंफॉर्मेशन लाकर मुझे फायदा करा दिया। 2 लाख। अगली डिटेल, पूरी डिटेल सुन रहा हूं मैं, कितना फॉरेन ट्रेवल किया, कंप्लीट डिटेल फॉरेन ट्रेवल की। मैं मर गया। मैंने कहा सर मैं तो दुबई गया था, कुवैत गया था, बहरीन गया था, ये गया था, लेकिन मैंने तो एक भी पैसा नहीं खर्च किया। They called me, I went there to deliver lecture, said we don't know about that part, but you traveled from this place to this place, this place. Have you traveled? I said yes. I had traveled to my sister is my daughter is abroad, so I traveled to US also. तो उसमें टिकट थे दिल्ली न्यूयॉर्क, न्यूयॉर्क दिल्ली। मैंने कहा सर टिकट तो दिल्ली न्यूयॉर्क, न्यूयॉर्क दिल्ली है, लेकिन मैं वहां से कैलिफोर्निया गया, मैं वहां से मिशिगन गया, मैं वहां से बॉस्टन गया, उसकी डिटेल आपके पास कहाँ है? कहता वो खुद दे देते हैं आप पुरोहित साहब। मैंने कहा कैसे दे देते हैं? कहते आप घूमने जाते हैं, फेसबुक में डाल देते हैं, हम कहते हैं वी लाइक इट, और वो फेसबुक से उन्होंने नोट कर रखा था कि कौन को, जिसकी भी सर्वेलेंस करते हैं फेसबुक से ले। सर लेडीज यू नो शादी पे जाती हैं लोडेड विद ज्वेलरी और क्या क्या ड्रेस पहन के, और वो अपनी फेसबुक में डाल देती है वो अपना फेसबुक में। अगले दिन वो कहते हैं वी लाइक इट और वी लाइक इट मोर। वो भी उनके पास डिटेल कईयों की है, और पूरी डिटेल उनके पास है। उनके पास फ्लिपकार्ट, आप अमेजन से जो कैश की डीलिंग करी है, कैश वाली, छोटा अमाउंट है तो छोड़ देते हैं, उसकी भी डिटेल उनके पास, कैश वाली। क्रेडिट कार्ड का तो अदरवाइज इट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर, आई एम नॉट गिविंग। अरे दे हैड इंफॉर्मेशन ऑफ माय ऑल एसेट्स लायबिलिटी, क्योंकि 50 लाख के ऊपर एसेट लायबिलिटी भी देनी पड़ती है, उसकी भी डिटेल उनके पास थी। मेरे साथ में तो ये हुआ, मेरे तो इंटरनल ट्रेवल की भी, इनलैंड ट्रेवल की भी डिटेल उनके पास थी। मैंने कहा वो कैसे आ गई? कहते आप बहुत फ्रीक्वेंट ट्रेवलर है। मैंने कहा क्या हुआ फिर? कहते हम वॉच करते हैं, इतना आदमी ट्रेवल करता है, क्या कहानी है? मेरा 248 टाइम्स ट्रेवल था उस साल, 124 टाइम गोइंग, 124 टाइम कमिंग बैक। I said I did go there to deliver lecture and I have come back. I did not spend even a single penny. I rather stayed also many places. And you are saying that, he said, we are not concerned whether you have spent it or the institute has spent it. But your travel is there because we kept a surveillance that you are traveling so much. So I tell you, they have the complete Janma Kundali of ours. इतना तो पंडित के पास वो निकाल नहीं सकता जितना वो निकाल कर ले आए। हाथ जोड़कर विनती है, जमाना बदल गया है, अब वक्त नहीं है कोई चीज छुपाने का, वो वक्त चला गया। तभी तो मौका दिया है, जो आज वेद जी ने कहा आपको, गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है। अपने क्लाइंट्स को कह दीजिए कि कर लें, नहीं तो पछताएंगे। मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, मैंने तो कोशिश ये भी कर रहा हूं पुरोहित साहब कि वो जो 115 BBE है, जिसमें 77.25 टैक्स लगा है, जो डिमोनेटाइजेशन के केसेस का, हमने तो 3 बार सजेशन दी और कल फिर मैं जा रहा हूं कि सर इसको डिस्काउंट देकर दे दो, 77.25 is too high because what is the saving? Only penalty of 6%. तो आप इसको डिस्काउंट करके कर दो. आपने जीएसटी में भी ऐसा किया है. Let us see. रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी दिया है. We are trying that those cases, क्योंकि फर्स्ट टाइम इन जीएसटी मैंने देखा है, ये जो डिमोनेटाइजेशन के टाइम में जितनी भी असेसमेंट हुई है ना सर, रूटीन असेसमेंट कर दी. सबको जितना पैसा जमा कराया उसको इनकम मान दिया. पूरे पैसे को इनकम मान दिया, इन स्पाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट कि उसको मैंने इनकम सेल्स में दिखाया हुआ है. इन स्पाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट उसको मैंने इनकम में दिखा रखा है, तो नेट प्रॉफिट तो लिया ही हुआ है ना, वहां भी ऐड कर दिया. और मेरा जितना पैसा बैंक में जमा कराया उसमें भी ऐड कर दिया. डबल टैक्स लगा दिया. मैंने उनको कहा है कि सर ये करिए, कुछ इसका इंतजाम कीजिए. लेट अस सी व्हाट हैपेंस. बट आपके पास गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है. आई एम टेलिंग ऑल ऑफ आवर प्रोफेशनल कोलीग, काइंडली टेल योर क्लाइंट्स टू गो फॉर दिस स्कीम. इट इज अ वेरी गुड स्कीम. ऑलरेडी नोटेड कि जो पुराने कर्म किए हुए हैं, मैंने कहा मैं 100 चूहे खा के हज को चला गया हूं. तो अगर राजेश जी आपने 98 खाए हैं तो 2 और खा लेना, इसके ऊपर मत खाना. मैं सबको बोल रहा हूं. मैंने सबको बोला है, अपने क्लाइंट को बोलो गंगा नहा लें, ये मौका है, ये पाप धो लें. आगे तो क्या होने वाला है, इतनी इंफॉर्मेशन उनके पास है, इतनी इंफॉर्मेशन उनके पास है. और फिर जो हम कहा करते थे, मैं हूं ना 140 ना, अब आप नहीं है, आपका दिमाग है. हाउ डू यू प्रेजेंट योर केस, दैट विल हेल्प यू आउट. अब पढ़ना का काम आ गया. गॉन आर द डेज वेयर यू यूज्ड टू हैव कनेक्शन और यू यूज्ड टू हैव फेसलेस फेस वैल्यू. अब तो फेसलेस हो गए, फेस वैल्यू तो खत्म हो गई. अब तो फेसलेस रहना है. मुझे कई पूछने लग गए, सर कोई तो तरीका होगा ना. मैंने कहा कौन सा तरीका है उनको कांटेक्ट करने का. कहता कोई तो निकल ही आएगा. मैं क्या कोई नहीं निकलेगा. कहता वो तो देख लेंगे, हमें वही कांटेक्ट कर लेंगे. मैं क्या गलत मत सोचना, उनके पास भी कोई पावर ही नहीं है, क्योंकि असेसमेंट यूनिट डिफरेंट है, वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट डिफरेंट है, रिव्यू यूनिट डिफरेंट है, टेक्निकल यूनिट डिफरेंट है, नेशनल ई असेसमेंट डिफरेंट है. क्या सोच रहे हो, छोड़ जाओ, भूल जाओ. सर ये सक्सेसफुल नहीं होगी. मैं कहा वो तो हर चीज में हम तब भी कहते थे शुरू में कि सर ये सक्सेसफुल नहीं होगा, ये सक्सेसफुल नहीं होगा. और अब देखिए सब कुछ हो गया. जब 26 AS आया, हाउ इजी इट इज टू फाइल ए रिटर्न ऑफ इनकम. क्वार्टरली TDS आया, हाउ वाज इट डिफिकल्ट इन द बिगिनिंग. नाउ इट इज एवरीवन इज स्मूथ. और आप अपनी रिटर्न भरते हैं ऑनलाइन, कोई दिक्कत आ रही है आपको? अरे आपका वो होकर आ रहा है व्हाट यू कॉल 143(1), वो भी तो फेसलेस ही है. 143(1) CPC क्या करती है आपको? क्या फेसलेस ही तो है. एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग ऑन. सो शुरू में इनिशियल देयर वर लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स, बट देयर इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी. और किसी ने रियलाइज नहीं किया राजेश जी, ये तो लॉ बन गया था 2018 में. फाइनेंस एक्ट 2018 had inserted 3 sections under 143, but there were 3 sections were section 143 subsection 3 capital A, section 143 subsection 3 capital B, section 143 subsection 3C. ये 3 सेक्शन डाले गए थे विद इफेक्ट फ्रॉम 1 April 2018 रिगार्डिंग ई प्रोसीडिंग, ई असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग. ये डाल दिए गए थे. लैंग्वेज सुनिए सिलेक्शन की तो आपको क्लियर होगा. और उसके बाद क्या हुआ, उसमें लिखा था 143(3)(a) में, द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में बाय नोटिफिकेशन make a scheme for assessment of income under section 143(3) or 144 so as to avoid any, to bring in more greater efficiency, greater transparency, greater accountability, so as to avoid interaction between the assessing officer and the assessee to the extent technologically possible. जितना टेक्नोलॉजिकल पॉसिबल होगा हम इनका इंटरेक्शन खत्म कर देंगे, फेसलेस हो जाए। सेकेंड, टू हैव ऑप्टिमल यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेस, ऑप्टिमल यूजर एंड फंक्शनल स्पेशलाइजेशन, ये फंक्शनल स्पेशलाइजेशन किया है। एंड टू हैव टीम बेस्ड असेसमेंट यूनिट, टीम बेस्ड असेसमेंट यूनिट विद डायनेमिक ज्यूरिडिक्शन, ये डाला। और आपको बताऊं राजेश जी, 12 सितंबर 2019 को ये ई असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग का नोटिफिकेशन आ गया। मैं ओल्ड बता रहा हूं, 12 September 2019 notification was introduced by introducing notification number 61 dated 2019, dated 61 2019 dated 12 September 2019. 58,322 cases were selected for scrutiny at that time on the basis of e-proceedings. ये अलग थे, वो भूल जाइए जो ESS वो कर रहे थे, क्यों बुलाकर कर रहे थे, वो तो फ्रॉड था कि आप अपना अपलोड कर दो और फिर हमारे पास आ जाओ, वो तो फ्रॉड था, वो नहीं था। ये 58,332 केसेस डाले गए, उसमें से कई असेसमेंट होके आ गई हैं जो लिमिटेड स्क्रूटनी वाली थी, 0 वाली हो गई, ये लाए गए थे। अब क्या किया, 13 अगस्त 2020 को नोटिफिकेशन 60 लाए by 2020, amending the original notification number 61 2019, उसको अमेंड कर अब आप उसको जब मर्ज कर देंगे तो पिक्चर ही कोई डिफरेंट आ गई है। लोग उसको अलग अलग पढ़ रहे हैं, 61 को अलग पढ़ते हैं, 19 को, 60 को अलग पढ़ते हैं। जी अलग मत पढ़ना, इनको पहले मर्ज कर लीजिए, अमेंडमेंट है, ये कोई नया नहीं है, अमेंडमेंट इन द 61, amendment done by notification 60 dated 13th of August 2020 आ गया। अब बड़ा ध्यान से सुनिए, आने के बाद भी कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ। अभी जो पीछे पार्लियामेंट बैठी है वहां पर एक टैक्सेशन एंड अदर प्रोविजंस रिलैक्सेशन प्रोविजन एक्ट बनाया है, आया पार्लियामेंट में, बिल बना, बिल पेश हुआ, फिर एक्ट बन गया। उस एक्ट में एक सेक्शन डाल दिया गया 144B, 144B, बाकी भी डाले, पहले मैं 144B ले रहा हूं। उस 144B में क्या लिखा है, ये जो नोटिफिकेशन आपने दिए ये वैलिड 31 मार्च 2021 तक है, बस। ये शुरू हुए 13 अगस्त से अमेंडमेंट और 31 मार्च 21, उसके बाद ये नोटिफिकेशन वैलिड नहीं है। इसके बदले इट हैज बीन सब्स्टिट्यूटेड बाय सेक्शन 144B, और वो लॉ में ही डल गया। अब नोटिफिकेशन की बातें मत करना सर जी, मैं जो बता रहा हूं, ये जो 2 नोटिफिकेशन हम करने जा रहे हैं, उसके बाद सेक्शन 144B सेम लाइंस है, वो अलग बात है, सेम ही है लैंग्वेज, पर थोड़ा बहुत चेंज है। लेकिन 144B पढ़ना है 1 अप्रैल 2021 के बाद। ये सिर्फ 31 मार्च 2021 तक का ये वाला है नोटिफिकेशन जो मैंने आपको बताया। पहले ऐसा डेट नहीं थी, लेकिन सनसेट डाल दिया बाय ब्रिंगिंग दिस अमेंडमेंट। ये क्लियर हुआ पहले सर? ये 31 मार्च 21 तक ये, उसके बाद यू हैव टू रीड 144B। जब ये नोटिफिकेशन लाए 60 डेटेड 13 अगस्त, उसमें इन्होंने क्या किया, पहले नाम था ई असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग, अब डाल दिया फेसलेस असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग स्कीम। फेसलेस नाम ही बदल गया, अब नाम है फेसलेस असेसमेंट स्कीम, और वो नाम बदल दिया। सुनिए सर, उन्होंने कहा था वी विल कॉन्स्टिट्यूट, और वी हैव कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड, एक नाम रखा था नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर। सर यही है ना गणेश जी, NEAC, ये नाम सिर्फ 31 मार्च तक है। 31 मार्च के बाद इसका नाम हो जाएगा नेशनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर। नाम भी बदल जाएगा। अभी तो ये नाम कब शुरू पड़ा, 13 अगस्त को, कब खत्म हो जाएगा, 31 मार्च 21 को। अभी क्या नाम है, नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर। तब नाम क्या हो जाएगा, नेशनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर। उन्होंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूट किए रीजनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर, मालूम है ना। ये भी नाम 31 मार्च 21 तक है। उसके बाद हो जाएगा रीजनल फेसलेस असेसमेंट सेंटर। नाम ही बदलेंगे, काम वही रहेंगे, उनके नाम बदल देंगे रीजनल। सो मैं आ रहा हूं, द गवर्नमेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर एट दिल्ली सिविक सेंटर में विद डायनेमिक ज्यूरिडिक्शन, सेंट्रलाइज्ड कंट्रोल। सेंट्रल का एक ही पूरे नेशन का एक ही सेंट्रलाइज्ड कंट्रोल है, और उसके पास है नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर, विल be known as later after from the next year National Faceless Assessment Center. Create हो गया. This has been formulated to facilitate the assessment proceedings in a centralized manner under dynamic jurisdiction. ये बना दिया गया. उसके नीचे रखे, the central government has constituted as many regional e-assessment center as it deemed necessary. और रीजनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर बना दिए टू फैसिलिटेट द कार्डर कंट्रोल रीजन सिस्टम अंडर द प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर ऑफ इनकम टैक्स। वो इतने रीजनल बना, एक बनाया नेशनल, उसके नीचे बताया रीजनल बना दिए कई ई असेसमेंट सेंटर। और उन्होंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूट किया नंबर 1 असेसमेंट यूनिट्स, नंबर 2 वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट्स, नंबर 3 टेक्निकल यूनिट, नंबर 4 एज मैनी रिव्यू यूनिट। ये 4 तरह के असेसमेंट यूनिट के पार्ट हैं। आप सोच रहे एक आदमी असेसमेंट करेगा, मुगालते में। द जॉब ऑफ द असेसमेंट यूनिट इज टू परफॉर्म द फंक्शन ऑफ असेसमेंट, नो डाउट, टू परफॉर्म द फंक्शन ऑफ असेसमेंट विच इंक्लूड्स, क्या निकलेगा, विच इंक्लूड्स आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ इश्यूज एंड मटीरियल which are relevant for determining the liability or refund due to you, to seek information about those issues or material which have been pointed out by him or pointed by the assessment unit, to analyze, जब उसकी reply आ जाएगी, to analyze those replies, response to those issues and the points which you have identified and such other function as may deem necessary. तो इस असेसमेंट यूनिट का काम है असेसमेंट करना और कुछ नहीं। अब इस असेसमेंट यूनिट को कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट चाहिए, जो एविडेंस चाहिए, ये खुद नहीं मंगवा सकेगा। दिस असेसमेंट यूनिट विल राइट टू नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर दैट वी वांट इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली, एवरीथिंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली, कोई लेक्चर, कोई कुछ नहीं, कोई रिटर्न नहीं है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली आप कम्युनिकेशन करेगा एनईसी को that we want this information, we want this document, we want these evidence, kindly provided from the assessee or any other person. वो NEC के पास गया, NEC उसको फॉरवर्ड करेगा assessee और any other person. ठीक है, इतने में वो कहता है सर हमें कुछ चीजें वेरिफिकेशन करानी है, हमें क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन कराना है, हमें इंक्वायरी करानी है, हमें एग्जामिनेशन ऑफ बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स कराने हैं, हमें विटनेस की स्टेटमेंट लेनी है। ये काम असेसमेंट यूनिट का नहीं होगा। वो लिख के देंगे एनईसी को, काइंडली वी वांट दिस इंक्वायरी, वी वांट एग्जामिनेशन, वी वांट विटनेस, वी वांट स्टेटमेंट ऑफ विटनेस, वी वांट क्रॉस वेरिफिकेशन, वी वांट ऑल दिस थिंग। वो लिख के भेज देंगे किसको, एनईसी को इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली। एनईसी विल फॉरवर्ड इट टू ए वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट, सेलेक्टेड ऑटोमेटेड टूल्स अंडर ऑटोमेटेड टूल। वो किसी भी वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट को भेज देंगे। मैं अभी करूंगा इसको भी करूंगा। वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट ये काम करेगा। अब राजेश जी, उनको कोई टेक्निकल एडवाइस चाहिए, कोई लीगल एडवाइस, कोई उसको वैल्यूएशन कराना है, कोई ऑडिट कराना है, स्पेशल ऑडिट, कोई ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग का कराना है, कोई डेटा एनालिटिक कराना है, कोई फोरेंसिक ऑडिट कराना है, कोई अकाउंटिंग के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन लेनी है, तो वो लिख के देंगे एनईसी को, सर हमें कुछ नहीं आता, आप ये हमारा करा के दो। और वो टेक्निकल यूनिट को लिखेंगे कि आप इसके ऊपर एडवाइस दो, क्या लीगल एडवाइस, इसमें क्या केस होना चाहिए, कौन सा केस एप्लीकेबल है कि नहीं, या इसकी ऑडिट कराओ, या वैल्यूएशन कराओ, या ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग की वैल्यूएशन कराओ, अनलन प्राइस डिटरमिन कराओ, या डेटा एनालिटिक कराओ। ये सारा काम किसका होगा, असेसमेंट यूनिट का नहीं है। दिस इज डन बाय टेक्निकल यूनिट, और टेक्निकल यूनिट वो कर देगा। टेक्निकल यूनिट जब वो कर देगा और वो रिपोर्ट बनाकर किसको भेजेगा? एनईसी, और एनईसी उसको किसको फॉरवर्ड करेगा? असेसमेंट। तो लीजिए, पहले आप एक स्ट्रक्चर समझ लिया, और हाँ, जब वो ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर बनाएगा तो उसका रिव्यू भी करवा सकते हैं, और वो भेजेंगे उसको रिव्यू यूनिट को कि इस ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर को रिव्यू करो कि ठीक भी है, कि इसमें कोई मॉडिफिकेशन सजेस्टेड है, हमें तो लगता है इसमें गड़बड़। आप बात समझ रहे हैं? तो क्या अकेले असेसमेंट यूनिट का काम है? नहीं, असेसमेंट यूनिट को तो हेल्प मिल रही है वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट से, जो उसको पता ही है कहाँ बैठा है वेरिफिकेशन यूनिट। उसको हेल्प मिलेगी टेक्निकल यूनिट से, फिर उसको पता है मेरे ऊपर भी रिव्यू यूनिट है, फिर रिव्यू यूनिट बनाएगा और फिर वो इसको पास करेगा। तो आप एक अंदाजा लगा लीजिए, कहीं कांटेक्ट नहीं होगा। ये मुगालते में मत रहना कहीं उसको हमने कह दिया कि सर नहीं कोई तरीका तो होगा। मैं कहा एक हमारे वर्ड है HNS, हम नहीं सुधरेंगे। सुधर जाओ, वो जमाना चला गया, आपको सुधरना पड़ेगा। अब कोई मतलब नहीं है कि हम नहीं सुधरेंगे, सबको सुधरना पड़ेगा। वक्त बदल गया, चाहे वो डिपार्टमेंट हो और चाहे आप हो। तो अब मैं शुरू कर रहा हूं, फॉर्मेशन के बाद क्या काम होगा। देखिए, आपने रिटर्न भरी, डन। वो CPC वही काम करेगा जो अभी भी कर रहा है, 143(1) में इंटीमेशन भेजेगा। उसका काम तो यही था, वो काम भी फेसलेस है, वो काम वैसे का वैसा रहेगा, उसका कोई असेसमेंट से लेना देना नहीं है। वो तो इंटीमेशन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ योर रिटर्न है। हाँ, दे कैन मेक सर्टेन एडजस्टमेंट, दे कैन मेक सर्टेन इंक्वायरीज फ्रॉम यू एंड मेक एडजस्टमेंट, वो चीज अलग, बट वो फेसलेस है। 143(1) हो गया। अब स्क्रूटनी गाइडलाइंस तो आएंगी जैसे पहले भी आती हैं। उस स्क्रूटनी गाइडलाइन से केसेस पिकअप होंगे, कासा करेगा, जो भी करेगा, कंप्यूटर से एडेड सिस्टम से, स्क्रूटनी गाइडलाइन से अलग। अब ये जितने भी केसेस हैं NSE को दे दिए जाएंगे कि ये है, और NSE अब एक नोटिस इशू करेगा। किसको? असेसी को। ऑनलाइन जाना है, हर चीज ऑनलाइन। कहां पर करेगा? या तो आपकी रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल पर, ओनली ऑन रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल, और जहां पोर्टल पे आप रजिस्टर्ड है, यू आर रजिस्टर्ड ऑन ए पोर्टल, एवरी एसएससी रजिस्टर्ड ऑन इनकम टैक्स पोर्टल, वहां पर भी अपलोड करेंगे। और मैसेज भी जा सकते हैं थ्रू मोबाइल ऐप, वो आपको मैसेज आ सकते हैं, और साथ में रियल टाइम अलर्ट भी आ सकता है। ये काम ऑनलाइन हो रहा है। हो सकता है 2 के बदले 1 को, लेकिन देंगे वो 2 को हो या 1 को, ये 2 जगह से हो या एक ही जगह भेजें। मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली 2 जगह मिनिमम जाएगा आपको इंटीमेशन। दैट दीज आर द इश्यूज ऑन विच बेसिस योर केस हैज बीन सेलेक्टेड। दीज आर द इशू भी स्पेसिफाई करेंगे, इशू उसमें डालेंगे, इशू करके आपको लेटर आएगा, नोटिस आएगा इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली, डिजिटल हो गया। Now you have to reply within 15 days of the receipt of that notice. इसमें कोई एक्सटेंशन भी नहीं दे रखी, कोई कंडोनेशन भी नहीं है। Within 15 days you have to file your response that we are in receipt of your notice, इतना giving us the facts about this thing, और वो आप उसको इंटीमेशन दे दे 15 दिन के अंदर।
सर थोड़ा सा आपका कैमरा एडजस्ट कर लीजिए, आपका फेस बीच बीच में दिखाई नहीं देता।
सर आगे पीछे हो जाता होगा, अब ठीक है?
Now. And there is a request from South कि as far as possible English में deliberate करें तो हमको समझ में आएगा, वो बोल रहे हैं।
Okay, I did good. Sometimes people say please be in English. I would prefer to be there only in what you call English. I am not into no problem. These are South people who are interested. No otherwise जो मदर टंग में यूज होता है
दोनों में बोलते जाइए सर, इंग्लिश में भी बोल दीजिए, फिर उसी चीज को हिंदी में भी बोल दीजिए। So
pardon me sir.
मैंने कहा इंग्लिश में भी बोल दीजिए, फिर उसी चीज को थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बोल दीजिए, तो both will be
okay. But why I'm saying is, even when you go to South, when they speak in English, they also speak in their mother tongue. Tamil maybe they speak in Tamil, they also speak in Kannada, they speak in Malayalam. But here the problem is, we are at the north side, we have to speak only either English or Hindi. Well, I'm not denying that fact. So, but I will try to curtail, I'll speak only in English. But जो मजाक लगाने का होता है ना, नमक मिर्च लगाने का, वो अपनी लैंग्वेज में ही होता है. You cannot do otherwise. Coming back. So what I'm trying to say, that a notice will be issued by the NAC electronically on your registered email, or in any case your registered portal where you are registered in the income tax department, or even maybe through SMS. And there will be a real-time alert also that your case has been selected on these issues. You have to reply within 15 days of the receipt of this notice. No condonation is there. Otherwise, if you don't reply, then you may get a 144 notice, 142, one red bill 144. Okay, we will do under 144. Now you have replied that. Now, if you have filed a return under 139.1 and you have been issued a notice under 143.2, they will say your case has been selected for faceless assessment scheme. They will mention that. You will be replying to you again. You have been issued a notice under 142.1, and after that you have filed a return. Sometimes you don't file a return. Notice is given to you under 142.1 to file a return of income, and thereafter you have filed a return of income. On that also, on that basis, they will tell you, since you have filed a return, your case has been selected for scrutiny and it will be under faceless assessment. If it is a case for 148.1, 148 will be given by the assessing officer for the time being, 148. He will select, he will give you the opportunity of you file a return, file objection. He will dispose of the objection, then hand over it to NEC. NEC will issue a notice under 148 for assessment under 147. You have already filed a return. So you will be informed about that. And if you have not responded, you will be given a notice under 142.1, finally show cause why your case may not selected under 144. Then why it can't be done under 144? The ex parte. This is the letter which is going to come. Now your case has been selected, you have been told. Now NEC with automated allocation system, automated, all machine based, nothing, automated allocation system, allot your case to some assessment unit anywhere in India. You are sitting at Indore, you have filed the return in Indore, it might go to Chennai, it might go to Amritsar, it might go to Calcutta, or it might be assessed in Bangalore, or at Jumri Talaiya also. So far, no assessment unit in Jumri Talaiya, but very soon you will have assessment unit in Jumri Talaiya also. 94 unit has been constituted. They are expanding it. It is now nearing 100, but they will extend more. So assessment unit out of automated allocation system has been allotted a case. Now this unit has received a case. They will identify the point, the issues. Then they want some information on the basis of their analysis. They want some evidence. They want certain document. They will write to the National E-Assessment Center that please provide us this information, this document, this evidence, either from the SSC or from any other person who has the knowledge of this case. Please provide us this. NEC will issue a notice. Forward that notice to whom? To the SSC or another person to provide that information within the time specified in that notice. If you cannot provide with the time specified in the notice, you ask for a condonation of delay and ask for extension, and then you have to file your response to that. Once you file your response, your document, your evidence and anything, those documents, etc., will be forwarded to the assessment unit. Am I right, sir? Whatever information you have provided, whatever document you have provided, whatever facts you have provided, forwarded to them. In the meantime, they want some verification to be done. They want some cross verification. They want certain inquiry to be done. They want certain examination of books. They want certain cross witness to be recorded. That they will write to NAC. We want these things to be done. NAC will send this to a verification unit, automated to. Now your case filed in Indore, case sent for assessment unit Chennai, but the verification unit may be in Delhi. The verification unit may be in Delhi. So even assessment unit does not know where is the verification unit sitting. Verification unit may be in Delhi. So they forward that to assessment verification unit to conduct that and prepare a report and send it back to us. So verification unit, whatever you wanted to do, inquiry, cross verification, examination, they will prepare a report and forward that to NEC. NEC in turn will forward that to assessment unit. Now assessment unit is again, they are looking for some legal advice. But what are the cases on this? Whether High Court judgment, should we follow the High Court judgment of the jurisdictional or should we not follow? What is the judgment of, is there any Supreme Court judgment on that? Whether the case is pending in Supreme Court, whether we have filed SLP or not. Yes, he has not to apply his mind. He has not to apply. Who is applying going to mind? They will write to it that we want legal advice. We want some accounting standard advice. We want some analytical advice. We want some management advice. We want some valuation to be done. We want some audit to be done. We want some forensic to be done. We want this thing to be done. They will write. Communication all. Sir, Purohit Sahab, now communication, you will have to improve your English. Because communication will be. Somewhere it will be allowed in vernacular language also. But now everyone has to communicate. Written communication online. Now this communication will be given that we want these things to be done. They will forward that to the technical unit. Technical unit in all its wisdom will see whether they will give the advice whatever asked for. If they ask for valuation, they will get their valuation done. If there is a transfer pricing, armament price to be determined, they'll get it done. If you want some accounting standard advice, they will give it to you. Now advice will be sent to NAC. NAC in turn will send that advice to whom? To the assessment unit. Now assessment unit got three things. One from assessee and other person. Two from verification unit after verification report. Three from technical unit, the technical report. Now they will make an assessment by preparing a draft order. Only draft order, sir. Only draft order. Along with the initiation of penalty, if any. In the draft order itself, they will move the initiation of penalty proceeding. And they will send that draft order to NEAC. Now the role of the NAC. NAC will apply all technical tools which they are available with them. All technical tools, the software, whatever. And they will see that if there is no change done by this, because if they have accepted your return and there is no change, they will see whether any change required. If not required, they will prepare a final order and send the copy of the final order electronically to the assessee. But suppose in the draft order some assessment modifications have been suggested in the draft order by the assessment unit. Since the modification have been suggested, the modification will be sent to the assessee to give his view, to give his comment, to give his observation that this is the modification which are suggested. We want to enhance your income, or these are the points on this, please reply. And the intimation will be sent to, notice will be sent to the assessee. Assessee will have to reply within the time given on whatever the modification there, his comments on that modification, whether he accepts that modification or if he does not accept, what is the reason for not accepting, what are the documents further you are investing. In the meantime, if they are finding that this order is not very correct, automated tool says, no, it requires further review, then they can send that case to the review unit. This is all automated tools. National e-assessments will send to review unit. So far, only 4 review units have been constituted in India. Only 4 review units. The job of the 4 review unit will be, when they get their draft order, they will read that draft order with all those annexures. Then they will see whether all the facts have been given in the draft order, whether the cases which are there, relevant cases, they have been mentioned in the draft order, whether the order is right or it requires certain modification, some suggestion. If it requires some modification, etc., sir, they will prepare a report and give their comment on that draft order to the NEC. If they are not agreeing to your report, if they are not agreeing to that, and they have suggested some modification, then that report, along with draft order, will be sent to some other assessment unit. Some other assessment unit, not the same assessment unit. And the other assessment unit will do the assessment on the basis of that, and then they will prepare a final order, also initiating the penalty in the final order. Are you noticing, sir? Faceless assessment is not a job of one man. It is team-based. It is not selected by any person. It is selected by automated allocation system of the NSE which had. It goes to assessment unit. Individually, assessment unit cannot do anything. They have to get information. It is through NSE. They have to get some verification done. It is through NSE. They have to want some technical advice through NSE. And when they give their draft order, it is reviewed by some other. And thereafter, final order. Wait, the assessee may say that I want some personal hearing. First thing is, you give your reply. Reply should be well drafted. Now the art of drafting. Now the art, knowledge, what you are going to reply, all communication has to be done in precise manner, but complete detail. You cannot say that I have put so many papers, so therefore they will read it. No, executive summary of everything. Prepare in a crisp manner. Bring the things which are more important to their life. Now you want personal hearing. Everybody would like to go for personal hearing, thinking that we'll be able to see the face of the assessing officer. No. The Commissioner of Income Tax, Principal Commissioner of Income Tax will decide whether the personal hearing is required or it is useless or it is just to defeat the law. And if he agrees to that, then you will be given faceless hearing. But please, it will be video recorded. Everything will be on video recorded, and they will keep a record of that. You can get a copy of that statement also, video. So don't take anything on that side that we will be able to talk to them. Everything will be recorded there. And second point, you may not be able to see the face of the assessing officer who's asking you question. He will be able to see your face. Why? He wants to know when he puts a question, what is the reaction on your face? Whether you are fumbling or you are not able to answer or you are trying to shift anything, but you will not be able to see his face. Why you will not be able to see? You may not contact him. So, sir, main hu na, you are nothing. Yeah, I have connection, you don't have any connection. You don't know who is that gentleman. And that gentleman also has no power because he's not the person who is doing the assessment. The technical unit is different. A review unit is different. They will get it reviewed. Verification unit is different. So everybody has put in his report and everything is on record. When everything is on record, how can you do it? Let me tell you. Everything on record, how can you do it? And now the final assessment order will be passed. So far, they had said, after passing the order, they will transfer all the record to the jurisdictional AO. The purpose of the jurisdictional AO is recovery proceedings or refund if at all to be given or rectification to be done. But that also will be gradually. You wait and watch, it is already given. Under 157B section has been introduced, where rectification will also be online, faceless, where everything will be faceless. You wait and watch. Even I'm telling you, 148 is going to be faceless. Wait and watch. Everything is going to be changed. They have introduced 157 section, even 263, 264. 263 will also be faceless, telling you. They have brought that law. They've already brought that law, but that is to be implemented. No notification has been issued. So you wait and watch. You will forget where is the office of Income Tax Department. You will not know. There is no need to go there. Everything sit at home. sit at home, mala feriye, aram kijiye, or do it on the basis of sitting at home. No question of visiting. I was telling people I'll miss the canteen of the income tax department. Sometimes when we used to get time, you could have one samosa or one cup of tea from the canteen of the income tax department. That is also gone. Now there is no point visiting. There is nothing. And that person, no person is there to do your assessment. It's even for commissioner appeal is gone now. So now the change was made in Finance Act 20 by bringing section 250, 6B, 6C, 6A, 6B, and 6C. Those sections were introduced by Finance Act 20 under section 250 by inserting subsection 6A, 6B, 6C relating to faceless appeal. We thought it will never come. But while launching this faceless assessment scheme, the Prime Minister said on 25th of September, we will bring faceless appeal. And right on for 25th of September, the faceless appeal has seen the light of the day by introducing two notification dated date number 76 by 2020 and 77 by 2020, giving the whole faceless scheme. Now, the faceless appeal, now what they have done, they have constituted Faceless Appellate Center. What is the name now? Faceless Appellate Center. And they have constituted so many appellate unit as they wanted to have. Now there is one National Faceless Appellate Center. Please note the word National Faceless Appellate Center. And second, Regional Faceless Appellate Center on the same line. And then appellate units. Their job is for hearing the appeal under the charge of Commissioner Appeal. There will be so many appellate units as formulated with dynamic jurisdiction. You file your appeal in Indore. File. Form 35, we have filed it. National Faceless Appellate Center will allot that to any appellate unit in India. Any appellate unit in India. Maybe you file in Indore or you may file wherever your jurisdiction is. There is not a problem because you have to file online now. Wherever the jurisdiction is online. And it will go to Faceless Assessment Appellate Center. They will allocate this to a appellate unit anywhere in India, selected automated allocation system. Now the way it has gone to whom? It has gone to appellate units, right? Now, if you have filed an appeal in time, whatever the time is, 30 days, you have to file an appeal under Form 35, it's okay. Sometimes what happens is you file an appeal along with a letter of condonation of delay for delay in filing the appeal. You do it. National E-Assessment Center will forward both to the appellate unit. Now, the appellate unit will consider whether this condonation of delay to be granted or not to be granted. It is not National Faceless Assessment, National Faceless Appellate Unit. It is appellate officer or the unit will either give you condonation, accept your condonation application, or may reject your application. If they accept or reject, they will inform the National Appellate Center, Faceless Appellate Center. And National Faceless Appellate Center in turn will forward that to the SSC, whether it has been rejected or it has been accepted. Condonation rejected or condonation accepted. Sometimes you don't file a return, and you know that, but there is an assessment done under 144. And then you have to pay tax, whatever is the return income on the, what was the advance tax payable by you. You have not. Now this also, the appellate unit will decide whether the money is to be deposited or not to be deposited. They can say that we accept this appeal without the deposit of that advance tax which was payable. That will be done. Now, you want to submit more grounds of appeal. Again, submit your grounds of appeal, additional ground we call it, additional ground of appeal. National Faceless Assessment Center will forward those grounds of appeal to the appellate unit to grant approval or not to grant approval. Now, they can admit that additional ground. They may not admit that additional ground. After rejection or admission, they will inform to whom? To the faceless assessment, to the assessing officer, that we have accepted, we have not accepted. I think I am off the line now. I will come back. I was not there, but is there now?
Yes, sir, 4-5 minutes. 4-5 minutes you may take now. Sir, you can take 4-5 minutes more.
Some technical issue was there. I'm back. Okay.
So you may take 4-5 minutes more.
Yeah, I'm going to take 4-5 minutes more. Don't worry. You need not tell me because I know the timing to be maintained. So there's nothing to worry.
Sir,
now, additional evidence. Mr. Purohit, additional evidences. If there are additional evidences, again, you will give the additional evidences to the National Faceless Appellate Center. They will forward. Now, these additional evidences may be admitted, may not be admitted by them. Who has to take the decision? Appellate unit will have to take a decision. That is Commissioner Appeal. They will take a decision whether to accept it or not to accept it. Wait, then hearing you want. Now, there is a problem. They say the principal chief commissioner will decide whether the hearing to be given or not to you. You will apply. It has gone to the court. This is a quasi thing, you know. And you want to give, you want a hearing. You want to explain your position. You want to put your case, and you don't want to give us hearing. How can this decision be taken by the department whether to give you hearing or not? Hearing is our birth, our right. It's a fundamental right of the hearing. So the opportunity of being heard, the court is deciding upon, and we may get the relief that hearing will have to be provided if we ask for it. Hearing, but all video conference, everything recorded. Understand? Everything will be recorded, and then will they pass the draft order. Now they can send this draft order to other appellate unit for review. This is very surprising. Quasi function, same level of officer passing a judgment order, and you are getting it reviewed from another appellate unit, something which is not seen. How can it be? He is not a person on a higher authority, same level appellate unit, you are getting it reviewed. And then the final order will be passed, and penalty proceeding, whatever is there, was there. So this is the procedure which they have adopted. In the due course of time, things will also come, because I've been told the time is short, but you have to be crisp. And I maintain, Mr. Purohit said, no word in Hindi. So, sir, no, I have not used the word in Hindi except the word Hindi. I have used the word Hindi. Otherwise, I have not used the word Hindi. Thank you very much for the patient hearing.
Thanks a lot to Dr. Girish Ahuja Sahab for sparing his valuable time in today's conference. And whenever we listen to Dr. Girish Ahuja Sahab, always we feel that time has been given to him is too short. If we listen to him even for 3 hours, everyone will say to him that some more. And even so the time is too less, but we will in future again, sir, take some time from you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you. All the best. Take care. Take your leave. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. So now I invite respected Pankaj Ghiya Sahab for the next session, GST, and our session chairman, respected ML Patodi Sahab. Yes,
thank you, but we should hear some expert comments from Ganesh Purohit, sir, for the session.
Okay. With Mr. Modi, Mr. Punia, and Mr. I'm forgetting his name. Sir, they said, we told them that there is a hunch in the our fraternity that in our replies, we will mention on our letterpad and mention our telephone number. Then Mr. Modi said, yes, we are aware of that. And we shall be taking care of that also. So even that tactic is not going to work. The whole system is developed in such a manner that there cannot be any pilferage, there cannot be any persuasion, there cannot be any approach or any contact or anything. So we will have to be very, very careful while giving our replies before the assessment unit or even in appeal. Now the time has come that the precise drafting will become very important, and it will have to be appreciated, and we will have to master the language, and not only master the language, but then we have to support each and every statement with evidence. As if you read the commentary of Kanga Palkhiwala, whatever is stated in the narration of sections, that is supported by some judgment or the other. So that is how we will have to master and prepare our replies to the assessment unit as well as to the appellate authorities. I think it will be testing time for our fraternity, and we should gear up for that and should prepare for it. I won't take much time because our next speaker, Mr. Pankaj Ghiya, is ready for his GST deliberations. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Central Zone and Pankaj ji, Rajesh ji. I thank you all. You have given me opportunity in 2 sessions rather than in place of 1. Dr. Saraf is probably not logged in. Anyway, thank you very much. And I'm obliged to you. Thank you.
Now I invite today's speaker, respected Pankaj Ghiya Sahab, who is an authority on GST, who is the encyclopedia of GST. Every topic he may take, and everything when we will listen from him, every concept of every concept will become clear on GST. So we are lucky, we are grateful that Ghiya Sahab is taking today's session. But because of time constraint, I have requested respected Pankaj Ghiya Sahab to take this session for 20 minutes, because after that, just after this session, we will be having brain trust session on income tax. So now I hand over mic respected Pankaj Ghiya Sahab and today's session chairman respected ML Patodi Sahab, our past president of AIFTP.
Friends, I think our chairman Shri ML Patodi sir is there. He is the past president of advocate of par excellence on GST matters. I would be requesting Shri Patodi Sahab to open the session with his chairman remarks.
Thank you very much. Really, it is a pleasure to join today and hearing the finance minister on the subject of income tax and GST. The propositions given by finance minister to take care of and to support the decisions of the government, and she has given a importance to the tax practitioners. It is a fortunate for us. The subject which has been chosen today for Pankaj ji, you know, all know Pankaj ji is a master of GST, and he definitely will give a thought on the recent changes and procedural simplification which have been done recently by the government. And because of wasting time, I hand over the mic to Mr. Pankaj Ghiya to deliver his lecture.
Thank you, sir. Friends, it's a privilege again for me to address you, to have an interaction with you. Friends, it has been a historic moment for the AIFTP that the Honourable Finance Minister, Government of India, Honourable Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman ji had kindly consented to inaugurate this National Tax Conference. And she, in her almost 45 minutes speech, appreciated the role of the Federation, that is the AIFTP, and appreciated the role of the tax fraternity in the collection of taxes and in the building of the nation through payment of taxes. Friends, these words boost us to go further, to help us, and to improve our image, to improve our working, to improve the collection of the government taxes and the faceless and other schemes which she talked about it. We are seeing a digital era in the taxation laws, and that is the motto and the purpose of this National Tax Conference. The time is limited, 15 minutes, and the topic given to me was the recent changes. Friends, the recent changes in the GST, as you always know, it is about the extension of the time limits. The time limits for the annual return, the time limit for the quarterly return, the time limit for non-payment of the late fee, and all. And all the time limits had been gradually increased by the government, extended by the government time and again. Certain relaxations has been given, but the most wanted relaxation about the introduction of the e-invoicing by the companies having a turnover of more than 500 crore from 1st October, that was not increased. People were thinking that that would be increased, but that was not increased. And because of that, but they, after seeing many representations, after considering all the representation and interaction with the industry, granted further 30 days time to comply with the schemes. The extension of the time limit, sometimes we feel that because of the system, that is the Infosys, Tenexes and the other system, we are being GSTN, we are being faced with a problem, and the tax professional is suffering. We are time and again asking for extension of time for filing of the returns, asking for waiver of the late fees, asking for extension of time for the audits, asking that the audit limits should be reconsidered. We have to think again. The extension of time, yes, the system is complicated and it was the duty of the government to simplify the system. But do we fulfill all the requirements for extension of time? We sometimes feel that the trade and industry is not working or is not cooperating in the manner, because they are not coming up. They are not asking for time. They are not complaining about the GST. Only the tax fraternity, tax federations are complaining about the GST, asking for extension of time. And that is something which we have to reconsider. Friends, two other aspects apart from the TCS, which has been levied under GST, and the concept, the 50 lakh payment concept. We have to understand what would be the concept of the TCS and the applicability of the GST, whether included or not. Those things have to be considered in the matter. But the main motto, the main question which comes into question is, what is the opportunity available to the tax practitioner, the chartered accountant, the advocates, and what are the main litigation area which we are being faced? Unfortunately, the tribunal has still not been constituted under the GST Act. The first appeals are being decided by the first appellate authorities where to go. If the appeal is decided against the assessee, where to go? We are in a limbo. People are going to the High Court by filing a writ petition. Again, the High Court is saying, why you are coming? Why don't you approach the government for constituting a tribunal? And then the question of the input tax credit, which is the foremost and main front of litigation, the bogus bill. What the department is doing, they are doing three things which we should forcefully, very forcefully protest. And the federation should be in front in protesting about the actions of the department. The first action is that whenever there is a raid or anything, the department does not want that a consultant or a tax practitioner or a CA or a chartered or a advocate should be there at the client's place. Sometimes we feel that it is not advisable to go, but when we want to go or when we want to interact, the department, the DGGI, the anti-evasion or the normal authority, they do not want to entertain us. In the summons issued under section 70, they are issuing summons like anything. Every day a person is issued a summon for any small trivial thing, small issues. They are issuing summons, not asking for document, but they are also asking to tender statement. What is the need for tender statement? And what is the purpose of those statements? Those statements which can be used against you at a later part, or these statements can be a factor for anything. For small things, they are issuing notices under section 74. These are some of the recent things which the recent controversy has arisen, Because even for the bogus bills, where you are in a fifth person or a sixth person in a line of chain of the bogus bills, they are issuing notices threatening you, threatening the assessee, threatening the consultant for issuing proceedings, issuing summons. In certain cases, we had seen that they asked the client to name the consultant as a co-conspirator. Now you have to be very cautious about it. We have to understand that in certain cases where these type of things are coming down, we have to be working with an arm's length transaction. We have to be seen. We don't want to be involved in such hanky-panky things. But what is the requirement in the present law as on date? There is a consistent decisions coming of the earlier VAT era about the bogus bills, that if you have made the transaction without any connivance and all basic conditions of the payments, etc., are fulfilled, then you cannot be forced upon. But what is happening is the transaction, the survey is done at your places. They ask you to admit, ask you to reverse the tax through DRC 03 and given a statement that you had purchased the bill. Have you ever imagined the impact of those statements you give if you face similar proceedings under the Income Tax Act? Have you ever imagined what would happen under the Income Tax Act, under Section 68, 69, or under Section 270 AA, where the specific penalty provisions that has been started with effect from 1st April 2020? Nobody knows. Nobody thinks. He wants to get away with. The client wants that if we want to pay 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees as tax or something like interest, we will get away with this and we want to buy peace of mind. But that is not so. That is the start of a journey of harassment. So don't ask your client to agree that you had purchased the bill. Never support a person who is not paid the due tax. But always also we should advise the client about the repercussions of the admission you give during the survey, during the search, or during the input tax proceedings, or during the statement under given under Section 70 summons. What would be the impact of it? And admission by a client during those things would impact them under the income tax, would impact sometimes in one of my cases I am dealing with. Even the enforcement directorate has been involved in such thing. Normally, what we had also seen, they ask you for the documents. There was a case where a dealer was having 20,000 purchase invoices and almost 40,000 sale bills. The officer said you have to give all original documents, the purchase bill, the sale bill. I asked him, see, take a sample, take the ledger account. But these would be voluminous thing. And why are you asking? Because you will not be able to go through that. He was bent upon to harass the consultant as well as the client. And he went, no, you have to give every document. We went to the superior authority. Superior authority said, okay, Mr. Ghiya, you can take a decision. When I go, okay, we will submit all the documents. I asked the client to bring the documents in a truckload and submit it to the department. I asked him to number each and every document and give a receipt to me, and you have to verify that you have received the documents. That was a lesson to the officer. That was a lesson to the persons who create harassment for the assessee. So friends, sometimes what happens is that these type of proceedings, the arrest proceedings, whether you can be arrested or not, whether the bogus bill, the cancellation of the registration. Now the new phase, it is like a COVID pandemic. One thing becomes over, new thing becomes, new virus comes. Now the new virus which is coming is cancellation of the registration. And the reason for cancellation of the registration given by the tax authorities are that our inspector went to their place, the place was not found. It was not existing at that place. Only on that and only on that basis, they are giving a cancellation notice, cancelling. And what are the impact? The impacts are that because of your cancellation, the input tax credit available to your purchasers is not available. They make a survey to your purchasers, and that is something which is harassing everybody. So be cautious about these type of survey. Always have a documentary evidence about the rent deed, the photos, the name boards, the GST number written, and all other documents, even the correspondence or a courier or a post office letter or anything in support of your addresses, because these type of cancellations. But we have also to be aware that we do not involve in creation of the bogus forms, and that is one of the biggest problem which all the consultants are facing. Lot of consultants now the tax departments have taken the strategy out from the income tax department that even book a consultant also for any mishappening or misreporting in the transaction. Those are something which we have to take care. Apart from it, two other important aspects are about the filing of the advance ruling and about the decisions of the advance ruling and surveys on the basis of the decisions of the advance ruling. Now, surveys on the basis of the decisions of advance ruling, that is something which we have been facing. Advance ruling, if we go into appeal before the AAAR, they are headed by the two chief authorities of the SGST and CGST. Can you expect any relief from them? Can you expect any favorable decision from them? But alas, we don't have any objection. And apart from that, the next remedy is to file a writ petition before the High Court. So friends, sometimes in the GST, lot of complications are there. The interpretation issues are coming. But what interpretation issues? And see the changes which the government is coming out in the recent future. They are asking that from 1st April, you would be required to mention 4 or 6 digit HSN number in the invoices subject to your turnover, whether it is 5 crore or not. They are asking that this e-invoice, which is now at 500 crore, it would be gradually reduced to 100 crore. They had stated that in the month of October, almost 50 crore invoices had been generated through the e-invoice portal, and simultaneously e-way bills had been generated. But they are saying also that auto-populated 3B and auto-populated GSTR1 would be there. You have to understand that for auto-population, if you do not check, that is again a tragedy in the making. Because those figures, if you file it without verification, without checking, because the 16.4 provisions, they had not been diluted. They had not diluted the other provisions relating to the credit notes or the debit notes, but only one amendment has been made, that the mentioning of the invoice number and linking to the invoice number has been done away with. But that does not give you all the benefits. You have to see that the 16.4 provision where your input tax credit, because everything revolves around the input tax credit. That 16.4 provision, that is restricted out there. Because of that restriction, you are failing with the payment. You are failing with the deficiency of claiming of the input tax credit. And that is something which we have to be very cautious about it. In this COVID pandemic, we were expecting that 180 days relaxation, which was there, wanting because the payment was not being made, will be there. There are audits being started for the 17, 18 and 18, 19. In different parts of India, different concepts are there about the audits. In the audit, the first thing the auditor is saying, and I'm not talking of audit by a chartered accountant, I am talking of the audit by the departmental authority. The first thing they are seeing is the payment. Because if you had not received the 180 days payment within the stipulated time or otherwise, then the input tax credit of the other party is reversed and interest liability also accrues on that. The concept of the interest has also already been decided. Now, recently we have a Madras High Court decision which says that it is retrospective and the interest has to be levied on the net tax liability. Many issues are there, but today we had such a historic session, and because of the paucity of time in such type of sessions, the recent amendments and the recent controversies, which the topic was given to me, was seen. My concept was to discuss each and every issue in detail, but I have just run through, given you a glance about the controversial issues, about the various issues, because one major issue which is also to be considered is the transit movements, use of e-way bill, and catching of the transit movement, catching of the transporters, catching of the truck by various tax authorities in different states and levying tax given temporary registration number. Now, by giving temporary registration number and not using the registration number of the consignor or the consignee, they are creating an artificial registration, GST registration for getting the tax in that state. If the movement of goods is from one state to another, and that is proved by the movement, even the penalty which could have been levied under IGST. But what they are doing, they are levying the penalty under SGST and CGST by giving temporary registration number. And because of that, you will have to file an appeal in the state in which the such truck or vehicle has been detained or the penalty order has been passed, and then the amount is also deposited there. So alas, I don't know whether you will be able to get a refund of that amount or not, because even the temporary registration number and the login ID and password goes to the driver, and the driver vanishes, driver evaporates. In spite of specific mention by various dealers that the consignor or consignee should be the main person in which name the order should be passed, no consideration by the government or by the other person are being done in this GST methodology. Lot of other things are there, but because of the time, I think I would be restricting myself, because we have a wonderful session of brain trust afterwards, and I am thankful to you all giving me this opportunity, and I would request my chairman to conclude the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Pankaj ji.
Pankaj Ghiya sahab. All the participants and all the audience are so much eager to listen you again. And even for 1 hour they want to listen, but due to shortage of time, we will again take your time in the near coming days. So now I invite respected ML Patodi sahab to give his concluding remark on this session. And just after that, we are taking up the brain trust on income tax queries. Yes, sir. Now over to Patodi sahab.
Thank you, Rajesh Mehta ji. It was a wonderful talk given by Pankaj ji, elaborately discussed with the GST aspect and certain problems. Some of the relief which have been recently given were important for us. That is the relief for the small taxpayer whose turnover is less than 5 crore, and the filing of the return is now quarterly instead of monthly, but he has to deposit tax monthly. Similarly, revising the requirement of mention SSB and SSC on the tax invoice, that was also given. And interestingly, the interest tax liability on the net, that was a very important decision by the government based on the judgment of the Madras High Court, which was already discussed. I am thankful to Central Zone and all the team who has done this wonderful seminar, particularly requesting the finance minister who joined it, and I am thankful to the organizers who give a chance to present as a chairman on this session. Thank you very much. Rajesh Mehta.
Thank you, respected Patodi sahab. So now I invite respected Dr. K. Shivaram sahab, the next session chairman, and I invite respected Manoj Gupta ji, President Tax Practitioner Association.
Rajesh bhai, let me interrupt because I have to invite you. Now yes, you are a panelist. So I will be taking this privilege from Rajesh Mehta, and I would be inviting Dr. K. Shivaram Shri MVJ Kumar, advocate from Hyderabad, and my dear friend, the versatile National Vice President from Central Zone, Mr. Rajesh Mehta, Mr. Narayan Jain, a versatile luminary from Kolkata, who is a book writer and who is a speaker in many conferences. And again, my dear friend Manoj Gupta, a senior chartered accountant from Indore, who is the president of the Tax Practitioners Association. He is the president of many philanthropic organizations, very active person out in Indore and Madhya Pradesh. So we have a full star panel, and it would be dealing with the aspects of printers session, and I would be requesting Mr. Rajesh Mehta to, I would be requesting Dr. K. Shivram, the chairman of this session, to start the proceedings. Dr. K. Shivram, sir, now
Yes.
it is all handed over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pankaj and Mr. Mehta, and dear panelists and the fellow members who are listening to this our panel discussion. What we can do is, without first of all, let me thank the entire organizer and their team for giving the opportunity and the wonderful session what they had, including finance minister and GST and like EVS, all are live subject, and each one, as Rajesh Mehta and Pankaj are telling, a lot of time is required for discussion. We want to rank with you the what questions they have sent to us. This also require a lot of time on that, but we will try to do within the time allotted to us. What I am proposing to do is that I think that in the screen question is not coming. I can request the one of the panelists to take two questions at a time, so that all will get an opportunity. Start with, I can request Narayan Jain to in briefly what is the issue, what is the questions and your answer. So thereafterwards, I will give comment on that if it required. And thereafterwards, you can take one more question and answer. Thereafterwards, we will go to, I think, other speaker, other panel speaker. And like that, only one round will complete at least for the all four panel speakers. With this, of course, Narayan, all are expert, all panel speakers are expert in their own field. And I don't think they already introduced them very well. Narayan Jain, please carry on. You can take two of your questions.
Yes, sir. So we have received questions from participants in advance. So we have given these questions to the panelists in advance. So the panelist will be speaking the question and yes.
Okay. So you don't repeat the question. I think then you can summary, like in brief, we can say what is the question and your answer. Yes. Narayan, please.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, very much.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, very much.
Yeah. You see, the first question is, sir, the first question, with your kind permission, I would like to begin.
Okay.
While deciding an appeal, is it mandatory for the High Court to frame a substantial question of law, or can it decide the case on the basis of the question of law urged by the appellant under section 260 capital A? That was the question, sir. And in answer, I would like to refer to the Supreme Court judgment in the case of CIT versus AA Estate Private Limited. It is reported in 107taxman.com 209 and also in ITR 413, ITR 438 Supreme Court. There the Supreme Court had set aside the case because the provisions of law regarding framing of substantial question were not followed. So the case was set aside by the Honourable Supreme Court to the High Court. Sir, the second question, with your kind permission.
Yes, please go ahead.
can the assessee's failure to produce commissioner's order of approval dating back to the year 1976 for employees gratuity scheme tantamount to non-disclosure of material facts to justify reopening of assessment under section 148. This case also traveled to Gujarat High Court. Honorable Gujarat High Court held recently in the year 2018. The case was the Valsad District Central Cooperative Bank Limited versus ACIT. There the High Court decided that merely because the assessee is unable to produce a copy of the order of the approval of gratuity scheme, by the commissioner after long gap of time, it cannot tantamount any failure on the part of the assessee to disclose truly, because in this case the assessee was getting the benefit right since 1976. And the assessee had furnished the agreement with the Life Insurance Corporation and the trustees of the gratuity scheme. So the court allowed it. It said that section 148 reassessment proceeding is not in order.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jain. Only thing is that your first question is
Other question I will take later on.
Yes, because because otherwise that we are having the 4.
Right, sir.
Each one will take the 2. I have first question is concerned as you rightly put it, but only we can refer that the participant, if they desire, they refer the 425 ITR 420, that is the Shivraj Gupta versus CIT. In fact, those who have got our 151 landmark judgment of the Supreme Court, there we are referred on this. There also same issue has been considered. They said High Court has to frame the question of law and before deciding on the issues concerned. Identically with that, one can read in the AIFTP is our latest publication of 151 land budget. As the reassessment is concerned, you rightly stated that the Walla district, but now the judgment reported in ITR, those participants want to have refer it, that is 219 414 ITR 616 Gujarat High Court. We have made reference of the taxman is concerned. Now it is reported in the ITR 2219. Now who will next one, Mr. Jaipur is there or Mr. Manoj?
Manoj Gupta sir from Indore, TPA president.
Manoj Gupta sir. Yes, Manojji, you can take up your first question.
Yeah.
And, Manoj, what we'll do is we'll also take 2 of your questions.
Okay,
and
I'll take 2 questions.
I think we can go for the other one.
Namaskar, Shivram sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
First question is can the appellate tribunal dismiss an appeal without deciding the case on merits solely on the ground that the assessee has not appeared on the appointed date of hearing? So it is very clear in various high courts have decided in favor of the assessee that tribunal has to be definitely consider the case on merits. They cannot decide the case on ex parte without considering the merits. And provisions of Rule 24 also says the same. So if it is done by the tribunal likes that, assessee can file MA or High Court can remand back the case to decide afresh on merits. So this is question 1. This is the question 2. What are the tax implications under family arrangement or settlement? This is definitely having wider implications. The family settlement is family arrangement. Both are the same thing. Basically, this is realignment of existing rights or redistribution or distribution of the assets and properties between the family members. Wherever there is a dispute among family members, definitely they have a very good remedy available under civil law and income tax law to go for family settlement. Here, the word family is not to be considered in a narrower sense. Family may include any distant relatives if it has any impact on the assets of the family. And what is the basic purpose of the settlement is to create a peace and harmony amongst the members, and definitely to avoid litigation. Now, if we see the family settlement from the taxation point of view, the tax implications are very clear. If there is a family settlement amongst the members of a family, in case of transfer, it is not treated as transfer under section 2 subpara 47, and hence there is no capital gain under section 45, and definitely provisions of section 50C won't apply. And also the clubbing provisions under section 64 will not apply to the transfer. If we see the other side of the transferee of the assets, definitely it will not be considered as a gift, and hence provisions of section 56 to 10, so para 10 won't apply, because it will not be treated as a gift, even though it is without consideration. But the courts have considered that the consideration is the peace and harmony in the family, which is a very big consideration. And various courts, because there is no specific law in the Income Tax Act, various high courts and Supreme Court have decided that the family settlement won't attract taxation. However, if anything is transferred from a company, so suppose there is a holding company in a family or some other operating company in a family, and the company transfers its shares or other assets to its member, so definitely here company is a distinct entity, and as decided in B.A. Mahota Textiles Private Limited, reported in TS 234, that it won't be covered under this privilege, and definitely it will be treated as a transfer under section 45. So it is very clear that family settlement per se is definitely not covered under this definition of capital gains, but it should not be a collateral device. It should the gift the transfer of assets should not be a collateral device to avoid tax or transfer the family members to lower slabs, as held in Bansai Lal Agrawal versus Commissioner of Gift Tax in Punjab and Haryana High Court. So it is very clear family settlement is out of the purview of the taxation, but it should not be a collateral device. This is all from my side.
Okay, thank you, Manoj. The only thing is, that your first question is that tribunal cannot dismiss on that, because you are having the old judgment 74 ITR 41, that is Chennappa Mudalia. In fact, that you will find even the very recently our landmark judgment also, we have given latest judgment of the Supreme Court, that 272 CTR 205, where Supreme Court once again stated that tribunal cannot dismiss for non-appearing, they have to decide on the merit. Now, only thing, let me share with you an important point. When earlier one of the president of the ITAT, we made representation. People at that time earlier ITAT used to dismiss for non-appearance. They used to without deciding on the merit. Then we made representation stating that all right, sir, you cannot dismiss. And he told me one interesting thing. He said, yes, we are not dismissing. We say that if party approaches, we recall. Then he told us one interestingly, the 80% people don't come at all, and 20% whosoever come, they recall. What interesting he told us, suppose if we dismiss on the merit, then we have no alternative than to go to the High Court only. So from that point of view, of course, the law is very clear. They have to decide on the merit. But here the law is also, any chance is not able to appear, still they have decided on the merit ex parte, still there is provision for recalling that is already there. They can recall it. Family arrangement, as you rightly pointed out, it is subject by itself. You are rightly very briefly you have mentioned about the concept. But those who want to read more on the family arrangement, they can read one of the very good article written by K.H. Kaji and it's Manish Kaji. It is there in the ITAT online or org, detailed article on family arrangement. And then let me also share with you leading judgment on this Kale versus Deputy Director for AR 1976, Supreme Court 807. Of course, you already referred the Mota textile is concerned, rightly so. But there is also one judgment of the Bombay High Court is there, that is R.P. Mahatme Power of Attorney that is report 420 at 71. There is ultimately Bombay High Court has not accepted a family arrangement. They say there is no dispute. You have to point out what is the dispute. Merely writing in the agreement that is ultimately won't settle it, that is not sufficient. So these are all the, like some of the very interesting issue. As you pointed out, if family arrangement has to be valid, then there is no question of at all, that your transfer will not be there and there will not be 56. Also, I do agree with you. Okay, now we pass on to the Jai Kumar is there? No?
So M. Vijay Kumar is not here, sir.
Not there. Okay. Rajesh, you're taking? Rajesh?
So I will take up. I have received 2 questions.
Yes.
So the first question is here. If the assessee opts for presumptive taxation under section 44 AD of the Act,
yeah,
can he opt out in the subsequent year? If yes, what would be required? He would be required to get his books of accounts audited in subsequent year. So if any of the person opts for 44 AD, then whenever he opts out of section 44 AD, then for the subsequent 5 years, he will have to get his books of accounts audited under section 44 AD. But if any of the assessee has not opted under section 44 AD and his gross turnover is less than rupees 1 crore and during last 5 years also he did not opt for 44 AD, then in case his turnover is less than rupees 1 crore, then he is not required to get his books of accounts audited. Only he is required to file his profit and loss account and balance sheet in the ITR 3, and there will not be any requirement to get done the books of accounts audited as per section 44 AB clause E and as per section 44 AD subsection 4 and 44 AD subsection 5. So once an assessee has opted 44 AD, then again he will have to get opt for 44 AD. He cannot opt out. And once he has opted out, then he will have to get his books of accounts audited for subsequent 5 years.
Yes.
So, and there is another change during this year from the financial year 2019-20 itself, that if the turnover of any assessee is less than not more than rupees 5 crore during financial year 2019-20 and he has cash receipt and cash payment not exceeding 5%, then he is also not required to get his books of accounts audited. He will only have to file profit and loss account and balance sheet in ITR 3 only. So now, sir, respected sir, now another question I have with me. Whether can an income of the HUF be divided between members of the HUF? And can income of earlier year also be divided? So here the question asked is that can HUF divide its yearly income amongst its members every year, like a partnership firm? Like a partnership firm divide its profit as a share of profit amongst its partners. So can the HUF also divide its yearly income amongst its family members? Yes, as per section 10 subsection 2. The HUF can divide its yearly income amongst its members every year. And there is no necessity that the income should be divided equally or should be divided as per Hindu law. Income can be divided unequally. And even there is a judgment of Rajkot ITAT in the case of Vinit Kumar Raghavji Bhai. In that case, Honorable Rajkot ITAT Tribunal has even held that even accumulated income of earlier year can also be divided amongst members. So it is not necessary that the income should be divided every year. It can be divided amongst members even in subsequent year also. But the corpus of HUF can never be divided. Say for example, the HUF was created by partition of bigger HUF, then the amount received by that smaller HUF will be the corpus of HUF. That corpus is not the income of the HUF, so that corpus cannot be divided, but yearly income can be divided amongst members. So now these questions are with me only. So
okay, thank you. Because that your 44 AD is concerned, I do agree with your proposition. Because once you opt out next 5 years, this is what that our Mr. Harish Motiwala, he also written a very good article on this. A new provision came. That also you'll find it online. What reasoning you have given, same reasoning he has given. Of course, new amendment has come now is concerned. I agree with you. As regard HF is concerned, yes, I do agree with you. So to the extent of the income is concerned, distributing the among the, that is not necessarily, but only sometimes that issue may come, the what is the necessity or the reasonableness. Suppose somebody, suppose out of that 10 lakh, if you one person only give to 9 lakh, that somebody may question it, that or some other members may question on that. Subject to that, otherwise there is no legal bar on the given to from HF bottom, and even the 56 also will not come into the play. As I do agree with you. Now, Mr. Narayan Jainji, you can take up another.
Ram sir.
Yes, sir.
Suppose I start a new business with that 9 lakh. Will the status will be HUF?
Which one?
Suppose the income is divided.
Hmm.
There is 20 lakhs income, accumulated income that is divided, and one member gets 9 lakhs. He starts a business from that income. What will be the status?
No. You see, HF status is nothing to do with the division of income. The HF status they get by way of the birth, By birth, by status they will get by our birth. But by this income, that will not become the HF income. If it is HF, then that will not become HF income. HF status is by way of the birth, automatically they will get it. This is for necessity for that the members or co-partner for that is concerned. By any chance from HF, if you once again that by give it to his son's HUF, then that income will be clubbed over here. So that may not be permissible on that. So but ultimately, of course, you are distributing entire corpus, everything, then you have to go, Purohit, you have to go for total partition only. Otherwise, 171 you have to get it. So this is what necessary like this. Father is spending for his suppose child education or somebody's medical or somebody's education. Like that way it is for spending. That is what my reading is concerned. Yes, please, Narayan Jain, please go ahead. Jain sir.
So, I am coming to two more questions, sir.
Yes, please. Which one?
One is an assessee who is receiving refund consequent to waiver of interest under section 234A, 234B and 234C of the Income Tax Act by the Settlement Commission, is he also entitled to interest on refund under section 244A? You see, basically, the Supreme Court decided in CIT versus Anjum M.H. Ghaswala that Settlement Commission is not empowered to allow waiver of interest under these sections. But however, the Supreme Court in the recent case, 2017 case, held in the case of K. Lakshmansa and Company versus CIT, that is reported in 87taxman.com, 190 Supreme Court. There it is held by the Honourable Supreme Court that once it is decided that the interest have been waived and the refund is generated, then the assessee is automatically entitled to interest under section 244A on the interest. That is the judgment. Kerala High Court, of course, did not allow, but that judgment, when it was challenged in the Supreme Court allowed it. Now, sir, another small question is the assessing officer. An assessing officer, during the course of assessment, they found certain items and made the assessment using section 145(3) and made certain payments of goods purchased in violation of 40A(3), and also there were some violations of section 40 small a IA. Now, when the income is estimated, the many courts have held, Punjab and Haryana, Allahabad High Court, Madhya Pradesh High Court in Hindustan Equipment Private Limited, 2013, 30taxman.com, 295 Madhya Pradesh. It said that when the books of account have been rejected, it held that where the books of account have been rejected, and profit has been estimated, it is deemed that all the expenses and disallowances have been considered. Hence, no further disallowance under 48(3) is permissible. No other disallowance can be made in case of estimation of income. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
So
Because you know that
now I request respected K. Shivram Saab to conclude the today's session. And before concluding today's session, I request all the participants that tomorrow we will be having two important sessions. One is the panel discussion on important aspects of survey and search under income tax and GST. For this, we will be having M. Srinivas Rao, Deputy President, AIFTP, as our session chairman, and D.K. Gandhi, Ghaziabad, as panelist, CA Manoj Fadnis Saab, past President, ICAI, as our panelist, H.L. Madan Saab from New Delhi as our panelist, and CA Anil Mathurji from Jaipur as panelist. And second session will be important aspects of TDS and TCS under Income Tax Act. So for that session, we will be having Senior Advocate Mrs. Premlata Bansal, past President AIFTP, as our session chairman, and I will be one of the speaker, and second speaker will be Mahend Gargia Saab, advocate from Jaipur. And at 12 o'clock, we will be concluding our 2 days national conference with concluding remarks and vote of thanks. Tomorrow, our session will start at 10 o'clock. So all are requested to join the Zoom at 9:50 a.m. So the Zoom links have already been shared. Tomorrow again, it will be shared to all. So tomorrow our session will be live on YouTube, Zoom and YouTube both. So now I request Dr. K. Shivram Sahab to give his concluding remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, let me answer this what Narayan Jain has on this. Up to 244A is concerned, the judgment what you referred, that is also reported 399 ATR 657. Recently, Bombay High Court also unreported judgment है. PC Vita Bank of India. Bombay Court also 244A is concerned. What the courts are taking the view, once you collect the money and you utilize for that, ultimately you have to give the interest to them. That is what the Bombay Court also has taken the view. As you got another question is concerned, very interesting question. That is, 144 assessment is made. Whether there can be disallowance like specific disallowance, like section CT80, or like you are 40A1 or 40A3. You are rightly pointed out there are good number of cases where you taken the stand. Like I'll just tell you one judgment that is 395 ITR 385, that is Rajasthan. Once income is estimated, there cannot be disallowance. Then they know. Like one judgment dealing with section 68, that is the modern rubber industries, 218 at attachment 70. And one judgment deals with like you are 40A3 and 194C TDS not deducted. They said no specific disallowance cannot be made. And even the one judgment has gone to this extent, the partner's salary and everything. That also 153 ITD 506. That these are some of the very good judgment. Of course, you could not discuss various other questions are concerned. In fact, I must thank the panelists for taking a lot of their time preparing for the, that those questions must have come very late to them. They're able to prepare it. Thank you once again. Rajesh, thank you very much for giving an opportunity, and thank you once again.
Thanks a lot, respected Dr. K. Shivram Sahab. Thanks a lot, respected Manoj Gupta Sahab, Narayan Jain Sahab, for sparing valuable time and giving very detailed and very nice answers to the queries of our participants. So thanks a lot to all of you. So now tomorrow we will be meeting again at 10 o'clock. And at 12 o'clock, there will be our concluding session. So tomorrow the sessions are important and our speakers are great. We will be having past President ICAI Manoj Fadnis Saab. So I request all to join tomorrow at 9:50 a.m. by Zoom and YouTube. Thanks a lot. Now I request our team to conclude today's session to close the today's proceeding. Thanks a lot, respect.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My gratitude to Dr. Shivram. And thanks to Rajesh Bhai, Mr. Vinay Jolie, and all other colleagues in Gentle John for the wonderful show when they could invite the Honourable Finance Minister. Thank you. Thank you. We are always together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
राजेश भाई बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कल भी कोई पैनल डिस्कशन है क्या? टुमारो
डिस्कशन है जीएसटी और इनकम टैक्स के सर्च और सीजर सर्वे वगैरह के प्रावधानों पर।
नहीं, कोई पैनल डिस्कशन है क्या कल भी?
हाँ, कल है ना, पैनल डिस्कशन ही है कल भी। जी सर, जी सर।
ठीक है, सर्वे सर्च सीजर पे कोई काम हो तो आप मेरे को बता सकते हैं। सर्वे सर्च सीजर पे कोई भी पैनल डिस्कशन, क्वेश्चन आंसर, वी आर ऑलवेज टुगेदर सर। थैंक यू।